What's up, guys? Welcome to GuildGab episode 89. I'm here with MMOINKS, Alex of the RPG Shack, and Corvus Plays. I almost said Alex Plays. We're gonna do it again. And we are here to talk all about Guild Wars 2, episode 6, the finale of Living World Season 3, One Path Ends. And, it was a good one. I think we all enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it.
You did enjoy it. Good.
I did enjoy it.
Oh,
I mean,
it's so good to talk to you guys again. It's so good just to be here, hanging out. I love it.
What are we?
It's been a while. It feels like it's been.
Well,
I mean, it's only been 3 months, right?
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I was actually looking at the last episode just for just to remind myself who you guys are before we go live. Do I know these people? And it was the beginning of May the last time we were all together.
wow. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people
wow.
I know. I know there's people who miss the weekly podcasts and weekly stuff, but we tried weekly for a while once this 2 to 3 month cadence started, and we actually ran out of things to talk about. we literally
really
sat here
hard.
like, what should we talk about today?
We just ended up talking about other stuff.
We did.
Yeah. Some months were better than others, but
Yeah.
there can be some real dry spells in there, and it's tough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as we are citizens of the internet, we do love the sound of our own voices, but there's actually a limit to it.
I mean, there's nothing I enjoy more than sitting down and editing my own voice for 6 hours. That's the highlight of my week. I mean.
Well, yeah,
so-
Icon says Gem Store Gab would have. Yeah, we would just talk about the
Gem Store Gab. Yeah, pretty much, to be honest.
Where do we want to start, guys? Where do we want to start with?
Well,
episode
overall, what'd you guys think of this episode overall? Good, bad,
It
meh?
was my favorite episode, and I know I said that last time I think as well. But
Favorite
this just
episode
took
of
it.
season 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice. High praise.
It had the best maps, but it was the weakest part of the story for me.
Ooh.
By
Wow.
a very, very long shot.
Wow.
The story
Really?
really fell short for me.
I gave episode 5, Flashpoint, a lot of grief. I was not happy with that episode. This episode is easily, hands down, my favorite episode of season 3.
Wow.
Maybe my favorite episode in Guild Wars 2
Wow.
out of all the seasons.
Nice.
I liked it that much. And I've seen a lot of criticism coming from people about how this didn't feel very finale-like for the season. It didn't feel like it drove into the expansion very well. And I think those are all very valid criticisms, but for me anyway, and I'm not even that much like a Guild Wars 1 veteran or solid player, but I feel like ArenaNet did such a good job even with like explaining a lot of the different aspects that a Guild Wars 2 player might not be familiar with for this episode, for a lot of those key moments. And that's not saying it's perfect, but for me, the episode, the map, the fractal, the quality of life changes, this was maybe the best patch of the year, but certainly the best patch we've had in maybe 8 months.
Yeah.
Very nice. I'm going to have to agree. I don't know if it was my favorite episode, because I really, really loved episode 4 with defeating Caudicus, and that whole episode just felt very good to me.
Cool. Yeah.
This episode also felt really, really good. Like, it just felt like a solid episode, solid story. Now, I already see some people in chat saying, well, I liked it, but not as a finale, and we'll get to how it fits in with everything. Some people I've heard saying it's like a side story. We'll get into that, but just as an episode, as, from a storytelling perspective, and a map perspective, I thought the new map is great. I really loved it. I finished the episode feeling very good. I felt like we wrapped up some huge lore that's been there, from long time ago, as well as earlier in this season. But then it also kept open the Balthazar thing to lead into the expansion. So
I've got myself. I think the and I guess this is in part to when Leia Hoy was still was the narrative designer, because I know she very much liked these self-contained arcs when she was head of the narrative. But this is what I felt was actually the biggest weakness of season 3, that they felt like they had to cap off the Lazarus thing. That they kind of, not a clean slate exactly, for when we go and check out Balthazar in wherever the expansion is going to be, but everything had been geared towards the White Mantle and Lazarus and all that, and it's kind of weird looking back now at what the raid storyline first started, and then we get all the way to where we are, which is, it's been a really cool kind of process. But the White Mantle are so key and instrumental in Guild Wars 2, well, in Guild Wars 1 lore, and a massive reason why we originally went to the Crystal Desert in Guild Wars 1 was to consciously continue to defeat the White Mantle, or eventually defeat the Lich. And I just felt that offing Lazarus in the last 30 seconds was just a tremendous wasted opportunity to do something really spectacular with a super famous Guild Wars 2 villain. Something that really annoyed me was that he came back and that he had all this fantastic dialogue with Livia in the last fight. Like, some of that stuff was really creepy, talking about, do you have grandchildren, great-grand? All that was like, that was super cool and creepy. But then the Lazarus that we got to know 3 or 4 episodes previously, who wasn't even the real Lazarus, which wasn't necessarily my problem with him, that we could have had all of this characterization of the real Lazarus and then fighting him at the end. That would have meant so much more, rather than just going...
Yeah. I think I agree. Like, it was cool to have him there, and having known, that the Lazarus we knew before was fake, when this one did appear, it was like, oh my god, like, that's him.
He was cool.
It felt like a big thing,
really
like,
cool.
That's him. And then, like, all of his dialogue was like, it felt like way more powerful knowing that it was really him. But
he shouldn't have died.
Then
there.
he disappeared. The thing is, I
died.
think he should have died. I don't really know what they would have done if he hadn't died. Was he just going to be another villain?
Right. How much time can they dedicate to him? They dedicated all this time to setting up Balthazar and fake Lazarus.
I don't know where his story would have gone after that, really.
But
the thing is, I think I would have liked the season of characterization for him.
Me too.
I would have wanted him to die at the end, but then I don't know how they would have fit in the Balthazar stuff if that hadn't happened. So I think overall, this is probably like the compromise I would have chosen.
I don't know. It just seems a shame that we spent the entire season building up to Balthazar's reveal, and then having the final bit being Lazarus. And
well, I heard of someone on Reddit posted an idea that maybe this episode and the last one should have been swapped.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
so, like, we
big...
killed Lazarus and then whatever, and then the stuff with Primordus and Balthazar happened in the finale.
Yeah.
Which
I
get
that could work.
Yeah, I agree. There would have been, there's some plot points and some things that would have had to been rearranged a little bit within the episodes. You can't just simply switch them.
No, for sure.
But yeah, I just think that episode 5 was like the turning point in the story that's going to lead us into the expansion, because we had, we go from the destruction of the dragons to actually protecting the dragons. You had this big, giant, epic fight. You actually see Primordus. You're in that chamber. Balthazar gets away. You don't know where he went. There was a lot of like, oh my god moments in episode 5 that felt more like a finale to me. This episode 6, even though it was a phenomenal episode, it didn't seem like it seemed like we were going back to older stuff. Like I felt like after episode 5 we were ready to move forward, and then this episode was going, okay, oh wait, there's still White Mantle? Like, I thought in episode 5 you said all the White Mantle were dead. Oh no, wait, there's still entire bases. They're still using Bloodstone, and and we're still talking about the aspects. It felt like going a little bit backwards.
I had a thought that, like, when I was playing it, that like it maybe felt like one of their old like mid-season finales. Like how they ended, like a kind of a big event, but it's not like a huge
it's like,
thing.
well, I guess I'm off to the Crystal Desert.
That too. I think your character's like, well,
But,
I guess that's where we're
if you
going.
think of like how season 2 like had that mid-season break, you know, and ended up the whole Ascalon ghosting and Ritlock disappearing. Like that was kind of a big thing, but it wasn't massive. But then like at the end of the season, it was, you know, it redefined the kind of character of an entire playable race. Like that was a huge reveal, and the reveal here was just like, oh, this NPC you've known for like half an hour is Livia. And it was so cool, and it felt amazing. It felt really good, and I really liked it. But
I hated
it. It wasn't a season-defining. It wasn't a season-defining reveal, and it wasn't really a huge reveal that would take us anywhere, like the Sovari thing did, and obviously the Pact getting destroyed. Like that was a huge turning point of like, oh, this happened, and now I can't wait to see what happens next. Balthazar's gone somewhere that we're gonna go to, but.
Yeah, we didn't even see Balthazar. We didn't hear from him. Nothing in this episode.
It changed the whole season and everything
we
that's
saw
been going
at
on.
the end,
but... Like I really like this episode. Like I said,
oh
I think
yeah,
it's the best one in the
I
season,
agree.
But
this episode was amazing.
It wasn't an earth-shattering reveal like season 2 had, for sure.
I think like Lazarus, Livia was another tremendous wasted opportunity. That you bump into this. I mean, the thing is, I'm going to be so much more positive when we talk about the map and the meta and everything, because that for me was the shining bit of this patch, but of this update. But the writing was just consistently Deus Ex Machina. It was reason, and there was nothing there that makes any sense in the plot. There's this bit in one of the Dark Tower books where, to advance the plot, one of the characters needs to find out that a character masquerading as a good guy is a bad guy. And the only way that Stephen King can think about doing it is writing a note that the author wrote into the book, and it says, "Hi, he's a bad guy. This is Deus Ex Machina," that he just slipped into his own story. And
they didn't do that here. What are you talking about?
It's like when you find what's Livia's name when she's trapped in the thing.
Carita?
Yeah,
Carita?
It was just like, I'm here. Let's go and kill some. It's not. She was just there to push the plot forward and serve no real purpose.
But Anise sends you off to find her because she's missing.
Yeah.
Well, she's following the Eye of Janthier, which is following Balthazar, so you want to go find her and work with her to follow the Eye.
What would have made this whole thing feel better is if maybe a few episodes back, someone mentioned that the Shining Blade had sent somebody off to look for it, right? Just some kind of setup, so it didn't feel like, oh, hey...
Oh, Carita came out of nowhere. You know? Yeah. No, I agree with that. Now, I think that ArenaNet, in previous seasons, they did really good with leaving these breadcrumbs to like, oh, that meant that, and oh, that meant that. They haven't done that as much in this season. Like, there was no real breadcrumbs except maybe for Lazarus using a fire attack. There was no clues, and we talked about this last episode, that he was Balthazar. So if they would have had, throughout the season, talking a little bit more about the Shining Blade, maybe mentioning Carita, maybe if she was here and there and you had no idea who she was, but she was, you just thought that she was this other random NPC, and then at the end there's this big reveal. She was Livia the whole time. I think it would have felt a little bit better. I agree with you there.
That's the thing. There was this character who just appeared right at the very end of an entire living world story, who it turns out is beyond instrumental in what's going to happen next, and it just frustrates me that I'm not saying that she should have been revealed as Livia earlier on. All I'm saying is that Carita should have played a more prominent role in this story, because
she should have appeared in a couple of places, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe not even as a prominent role, just as a background.
Because even though real life works like the important people might come in at the end, it's like you're building a story. You're supposed to supposed to say, oh, who's this person? Who's this ally? And it was it just went on and on and on. And I mean, to me, it was from after about 30 seconds after the bit in the Shining Blade headquarters, it was painfully obvious it was Livia.
It was. I pretty much knew. I was like, this is so... When she was trapped in the bubble in the first instance, or the second instance, and she kept talking, and she has this really, not just a random NPC voice acting, I was just like, this is so Livia. Because it was just too perfect.
At one point, she sings the song
about That was amazing.
Yeah, there was a lot of hints throughout, and I think I think it would have been nice if we did see her earlier in the season as a background character, not as anybody prominent. She doesn't have to have any voice lines or anything. That would have been nice for me.
At the Attack on Divinity's Reach, that would have been a really perfect time. Even if she just had one line or something, just to see her helping out or something.
As a guard or something.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, the last instance was a little bit bittersweet. I was very excited about the reveal. I was very, very excited and happy that they didn't just forget Lazarus, because that was my fear as soon as he turned into Balthazar, which is something I despised greatly, because I wanted, like a lot of people, I wanted Lazarus to have his moment in the sun, and I wanted him to live a little longer. So the bitter part is that we kill him right away. But I think that the boss fight for a living story boss fight, I thought the boss fight was very good. I enjoyed
all
the encounter.
Even the puzzles in the White Mantle kind of base place, the wee puzzles where you have to throw the crystals on the...
Oh my God.
I thought that was so cool, man. Like,
Except it's really weird, because the first one, you have to disable them all, and then the second time you do it, you have to enable them all. And it doesn't tell you that it switches round.
It didn't switch for me. Maybe you can do it either way.
I think that might be it. Yeah, I think you can do it either way.
No, I turned them all off.
The second one actually just... I gotta watch my
times.
footage. The second one just gave up on me after a while.
Really?
It took me so long that it just...
I think that's what happened to me as well.
Really?
I don't know if it was a bug.
I was
Sorry,
wondering
what
that.
was it?
I was wondering if it would just time out, if like you took half an hour and you couldn't solve it.
Because the first one,
Yeah,
I was
like-
thinking so neat, and I was thinking about it, working out, in my
Well, no,
head. The
because you
second one, I
started
was
getting
just
really
like, I don't
snippy
know what the
with you.
hell I was doing. I was just throwing stuff.
Because things are like bombarding you and knocking you down while you're trying to figure out this brain puzzle.
Because Carida does start making comments if you start taking too long to do it. She's just like,
Wouldn't it be funny if you came all this way and got outsmarted by a silly puzzle? It's great.
It's like, well, we tried. Thanks for playing.
I'll have to see how long it actually takes me, how long it actually took me before it gave up or what. I feel like it gave up. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but in the last puzzle, I kept trying to turn them all off. And I just couldn't get it to line up, right? I couldn't get it to work. And so, yeah, I don't know about the last puzzle, but
Yeah.
It was cool. I think all of the fights, the mechanics and stuff, I thought that was so cool. The bit you have to CC her, otherwise she summons the little elemental things. Like, it was just the fights in this were really cool.
Fights were cool, yeah.
Puzzles were great.
you needed a lot of CC.
And I want to shout out.
If you didn't have CC,
We got the new map, but we also got little areas that we hadn't been to before, like that White Mantle base, in Brisbane, and like the Shining Blade, like headquarters. It was like tiny little areas of maps that we'd been to 100 times that we got little.
Yeah,
I like that stuff.
again, that was another slightly bittersweet moment for me, because she's like, off to Brisbane. And I'm like, we're going to get to go north? And then you get there, it's like, nah, it's just a,
It's like slightly north of
secret
Brisbane.
base over here. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's,
That was-
I mean, it's cool. It's awesome, but...
And it was cool because the way they did it, when you go into that instance, you actually have to go way, way, way up on the cliffs to get to the base. So they could even add something north of Brisbane at some point and just say, oh, well, when you go into that instance, it's way up top. That the
whole
base is.
the bouncing mushrums, like, took me a
That
little
was
while
cool,
to get
yeah.
into that.
That was kind of fun.
I really
Jumping
enjoyed.
all
I think they
over the
did very, very well reusing art assets, but in a new way to make it feel fresh. Like that white, like I've done. I don't know how long it took us to defeat Matthias, but I've gone through the Raid Wing 3 where all those the White Mantle base art assets come from.
Yeah.
Or, when we first saw them, I've been through there 100 times, but this still felt new to me because they used it in different ways. They added a couple new assets. I was impressed with the scope. Like when you look up, I felt like the towers went way up. Like this felt very
cool.
grand.
It was cool for me
even
to
though I
see
had
that
seen
stuff.
it all before. It felt new and grand. So props to the map artists for that.
It's funny because the first thing I thought of were the raids. Like, I've only done Wing 1. Like, I don't raid. But, like, I was like, oh, this is like the raids, because I'd only seen videos of people doing it and things like that. And it was like, oh, cool. I get to kind of see these assets. It's cool.
Oh yeah, that first bit with the White Mantle it's total Bastion of the Penitent and Salvation Pass. It's really, really cool. And that's this is what pains me so much, that I'm so split with this patch that the maps, they all look beautiful, and the combat encounters are phenomenal, but the writing is just awful. It's I'm sorry, and
I really don't agree with this episode.
it's so bad.
Yeah, it's weird. We're still like
not that
usually
bad.
we're not that divided.
Usually I'm the super negative one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ink's
story
freaking
writing.
loved it over here. What are you talking about, Alex?
I think part of the problem is for me as it's become apparent as they finally found their feet with what they want to do with the living world, is that this has proved, or it should prove, that small arcs, when they're trying to do living world to expansion to living world to expansion, small arcs like that don't work in this capacity. They need to meld and bleed into one another. I'm not saying that you should have something that lasts the next 6 years. What I'm saying is that you don't have to have that stop start just because you're moving from a living
I agree with.
world
Season
to an expansion.
Season 2 flowed a lot better, and it flowed right into the expansion. Season 3
Exactly, yeah.
was more
Right.
choppy, and I don't feel like it's going to flow very seamlessly into the expansion.
Yeah,
But
and
think about season 3 versus season 2. In season 2, you're telling basically one story that leads to more drama. In season 3, they're telling two stories that eventually connect, and I just think that connection and that flow of the story, because it was, here's a little bit about dragons on Arene, white mantle. Something about Lazarus, white mantle.
Yeah.
Balthazar, white mantle. It kept flip flopping, and they're not interwoven.
Although, to their credit, we also had the splitting up of our own guild, our own party. Bram's going this way, and Rox is doesn't know where to go.
Well,
and Ritlock's
and then we had
being,
an episode-
carted off to kitty jail, and where's he? And, so we're all kind of split up, so that's one thing to their credit.
We're
supposed to feel broken, okay?
But the thing is, I can't help but feel that the crack in the ice episode is to the overall story. It's like I can't really remember what. I mean, it just feels completely irrelevant.
It was
Bram becoming a dragon hunter.
Yeah,
There's
but like
no
we found
greater
that
storyline.
thing in the cave.
No one
and
cares.
stuff, and I don't know. No, but that's the thing. I do care, but not because of the patch or the story. Like that stuff that's going on with Bram and Jormag is like I've been wanting Jormag stuff in the game since launch. Like I and more Norn lore and Jormag stuff happening. Like that's so cool to me, but like it sucks that I'm getting this thing I wanted for so long just drip fed through Timey's
It just didn't fit into the narrative that they were trying to do. If you're going to try and go to the Crystal Desert, that's great. If you want to go and focus on Lazarus and Balthazar, great, but focus on Lazarus and Balthazar.
In terms of like the setting in the current events and in the world of Tyria, it kind of makes sense that all this stuff's going on, but from a purely like narrative standpoint, like where you're trying to tell like a kind of cohesive and deep story, it's better to keep things enclosed and maybe leave the Bram stuff for now. Or
you got to remember too, though, when before we knew about the Balthazar reveal, we were all about Primordus and Jormag. Everyone thought the expansion was going to be Primordus and Jormag, so that was the Jormag chapter. You're like, okay, we're getting closer to Jormag.
Yeah, maybe it's hindsight making us think it's like
true,
that, but actually we had no idea until last episode.
Because we went to Ember Bay, and so then we went to Bitterfrost, or Swip Swap? No, I think we went to Ember Bay first.
We were quite jaded.
Right. So you had the it's like you had the Primordus episode, and then you had the Jormag episode. And by the way, Timey got a letter from Bram in this episode, which I thought was really cool to get an update, because that was something that I had been wondering about was, well, is he still at Holbrecht? Did he actually get Norn together and go after Jormag? So he actually did get a group of Norn together, go up after Jormag, but like as soon as his new Destiny's Edge, and then like as soon as he got there, that's when like Jormag like went back down, and they're just like, where'd he go? What happened? What did you do?
They're all just there as like, are we allowed to kill him when he's asleep?
Back into the ice.
Can we even get to him?
We kind of screwed him over.
Yeah.
I mean,
but to be fair, that was kind of a convenient thing, like considering the risk we had of if another one dies, the whole world, falls apart. There's no balance, and then just kind of perfectly timed up. But I don't know. Yeah. It would have been cool to have to go and stop him in the middle of it.
Maybe I am being overly harsh on the writing. Like the writing itself isn't bad. It's the way that the plot is constructed that I think has been very
yeah.
poor.
I think if you break it down to like a pacing and structure kind of level,
Yeah,
I think then you
my
find the
problem.
flaw. But then I don't think I noticed it until I've had to like analyze that and work out stuff.
I think if you play
just generally playing it, and I think if you played all the way through in one row,
Right.
it would be fine.
No, I think you would feel it more now. If you played it start to finish now, I think you would notice the
Repeating it for sure.
jumping between story plots rather than because when it's getting released every 3 months, you're getting hyped and speculating. What is this going to be about? And then it ends up being about Bram and Jormag. And then next episode is Timing and Primordius. And
I think for
and
us,
that doesn't feel as bad. But looking back on it, and you're like, but it ended with killing Lazarus, and the White Mantle are finished, and they wrapped that whole story.
Are they?
Which is nice.
Yeah, I feel I feel like
but
for us to replay it, knowing what we know, maybe it would.
I would.
think
before the expansion comes out, I'm gonna play. I want to play it all in a row without the 2 to 3 months between, and see if it flows a little bit better.
I see. I did that exact same thing with season 2 before Heart of Thorns, and it was perfect. It was like the best. It took me, no time at all. It was actually surprisingly quick to run through, and I feel like it'll be kind of revealing how quick this is. It's like when I played through Heart of Thorns, and I finished the whole story in like a few hours, and I was like, wow, that expansion's really short. but obviously the mastery gates and everything. But I think for a new player playing through it all in one go, it wouldn't be that bad. I think for us, in retrospect, knowing what we know, then we start noticing the jumps. And
What's interesting though is now that we've all got it and completed it, we can actually pick and choose the order in which we play the episodes as well. So we don't have to play them 1 to 6. So we could do 1, 2, 5.
I would,
3,
I would love to play through
4,
and playing
6?
swapping 5 and 6. I think would make it very powerful because 5 was such a powerful episode.
Yeah, 5 was really cool.
And it makes you like just.
I don't know though.
I've probably downplayed the amount that I like 5 because
no, but 5, the ending of 5 was cool in terms of like a lore kind of. No, the ending of 5 was trash. Like the reveal of Balthazar was great. Nah.
You're staring an elder dragon in the face.
Yeah. No. It's cool, but like the
Who
fight
goes to sleep.
Disappears.
He's so bored. He just takes a nap.
The fight wasn't that great. Primordius is there, but then it's suddenly, you put 2 dragons to sleep, and it just felt, everything felt a bit shoehorned. Like, we've accidentally defeated 2 dragons. Essentially, they've gone back to sleep, so we're safe. Like by what?
That's kind of my point about Lazarus, though. It's
how
like,
does that work? I don't know.
This Massart demigod.
No, but the difference there is that the fight is really cool, and you get that final stomp, and there's lore reasons.
That
as to why
final
we were
stomp
able to
was
do it,
really cool on Lazarus with the shining blade.
There's actually exactly. There's a lore reason why we were.
I had to do it 7 damn times because he kept bugging out.
But that's because you're not good, Alex. That's because you didn't get good, Alex.
That's not what that means. That's not what that means.
I will just say that
I was like, can I just kill him already and be done with it?
I really love this episode, so I'm not going to talk about 5 because I didn't really like that one so much. And I'm going to stay positive on just focusing on this story. There are some oddities. There are some misplaced. I've seen people complaining about the humor and stuff. There are a few like misplaced jokes where like you feel like the story should be a little more serious than it's being.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I've been talking too much already, but like I think that was my biggest problem with this episode was it was trying to be funny too much. I think there was a lot of moments where it was kind of meant to be serious, but then characters are making little quips. And I'm like, I want to be like emotionally invested, but when like my character and everyone else is kind of doesn't seem like they're taking it too seriously.
I don't need eyebrows anyway.
And I know a lot of people have had a problem with the whole Shining Blade oath thing, how it didn't feel like their character should have done it. So I thought that the kind of mechanics and the actual trial thing you do was great, but the whole thing was so fast and so like, oh hey, Anise, how's it going? Okay, suddenly I'm doing an oath. Like, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
I thought the pacing on that was good.
It would have been great.
I thought the pacing on that was great. The entire instance was your oath into the Shining Blade. I may be biased because I play a human, so it made sense for me as a human being admitted into the Shining Blade. If I was playing like a Char or a Sylvari, it would have been a little more strange. And so
they do reference it.
Yeah, what was the dialogue differences if you're a different
when
race?
There was actually quite a few in this. I was really pleased. But when you're about to be sworn, you know, she asks, "Are there any objections?" And I think one character must object regardless. But the one for me said no. You know, this would be like the first non-human ever like sworn in. Like, we, you know, whatever. And I thought that was like a nice little touch. Because I play Sylvari, so I thought that was quite cool. There was another one of the hard quests, the ghosts in the map, like mentioned the fact that I'm a strange creature or something. So
yeah, that was sort of a weird part. If you don't play a human, and apparently if you do play a human and you chose the Shining Blade path, like that isn't properly dialogued either. The characters who should have recognized you don't recognize you, so that's a little bit of a missed opportunity. These are nitpicky things, right? It's a bit of a missed opportunity. The swearing in makes way more sense for a human than any other race.
It felt very good as a human.
Right. But if you're playing a Char who have been at war with the humans and like...
I've heard there's specific dialogue that someone who played a Char said they really didn't like me. And like they really had a lot of dialogue like, we don't like this guy. Why are we doing this? There's a line in the final
fight, you know, like when Lazarus says, you know, I helped save you from the Char. And I was really hoping that if you play as a Char in that moment he says something like, you know, kind of like that would have been cool.
I have a number of problems with that entire scene.
Really?
All right, really, I do. First of all, there doesn't seem to be any major reason to join the Shining Blade. To me, it's like if we're talking about the grand scheme of things in the game, it's like there's Balthazar and the Elder Dragons. The Shining Blade do not come onto the same level as Balthazar and the Elder Dragon and the End Times. So, to me, Anise should have swallowed her pride and agreed to have just dealt with it that one time.
We were going there to look for the Eye of Janthir, right? So we could track down Balthazar. We went to look for him because Anise pointed us in the right direction while being vague. We found somebody who knows where it went, and they can't tell us because they swore an oath that would kill them if they told us anything.
Right, yeah.
So that's why we had to be sworn in. Which makes sense, but it just wasn't delivered to us in a way that made it feel like, okay, this makes sense. This is why I'm doing it. But it still fell out of left field.
To me, that's just mismanaged priorities on the Shining Blade. But I don't want to.
Oh, you cut out, Alex.
Oh, hello.
Yep, you're good.
I think it's maybe a noise gate or something.
Yeah. I just said I don't really want to get into the administrative properties of a fictitious organization. So
Alex, that's what we do, Alex. Here,
I'll let them have that one. What there's after you get sworn in, I know there's a little bit of dialogue where the NPCs aren't too happy that you've essentially skipped up a bunch of ranks.
Yeah.
But then Anise or somebody says you can be an agent at large. I'm like, what does that mean? It means nothing.
It just means that you took the oath so we can give you our secrets. But you don't have to actually like stay and protect the queen.
You can continue to dick around as much as you like as the commander of the pack decide to be this week, as per usual. And
I will say
it's like Legionnaire of the Char next month. You know,
I will say it's better that they addressed that than not address it at all because you know players are going to pick that apart. If ArenaNet doesn't address that, you're an agent at large, which might be total bollocks, but. You know, even though that might be the case, if they don't address it, you'll just say, well, how does this work? Because we have our own guild and blah, blah, blah. You know, we can't sit around Kryta and do their business. We have dragons to deal with. And the commander does point that flaw out. And she's like, oh, well, don't worry about it. You'll just, you know. I mean, literally, you join so that they can tell you the secrets without dying.
Yeah.
Which I think is a fair enough deal to make.
It's fair. At the same time, did we really need to know the secret? Maybe to be able to go with Livia, but it makes sense. It feels good when you think of, like, I was freaking out when she's like, she just said, I'm gonna summon Lazarus and kill him, and I was just like, this is not a good idea. Why are you doing this? You know we have like a god and dragons and all this other stuff going on, and you're just gonna summon Lazarus. Yeah, can this wait? Like he can't be brought back without all of the aspects, and you have one of the aspects. So either destroy it or lock that thing down. hide it away so that he could never be summoned and deal with it later.
There was no real rush for it.
Right.
Well, in the commander's eyes, and I think in players' eyes, there's no real rush. In Livia's eyes, it's a very different matter, right? She has lived her entire life for this moment. She has extended her lifespan 250 plus years just so she could do this. And now that she has the opportunity and grasp, she knows where the aspects are. She has like the key piece. You know, she just wants this over and end it and not let it slip away from her again. Because she's been looking for these things for 300 years or whatever it's been.
All right,
you know?
Bjorn in chat has a point. That's true. After the second instance, we were the ones that had the piece. So and we said, we're not going to give it to you unless you tell me what's going on. And then she said, well, I can't tell you unless you're Shining Blade.
And your character's like, sure, I'll take the oath.
Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Dude, how cool with the trial things though?
That was cool. I was freaking out when they were like, dump in the water. We fight ourselves. And Kate saying, you messed up my wild hunt.
That was cool.
That was so
really
cool.
Even as a member of a party whose instance it wasn't, you still got to like stand up on a balcony and like drop bombs on people.
Really?
That's
so
cool.
Yeah. If you do it as a party, only the instance owner goes down. The bit where you have to run around and survive for as long as you can, and for the rest of it, you're like on top, and you have like normal grenades and ice grenades, I think, and so you can like chuck them down.
That's awesome.
But you're on like a balcony, and you can't fly off. It just keeps chucking you back. And then there's like the bit where you fight your self-doubt or whatever, and you can like jump down, and if it's an elementalist, who's the instance owner, they can summon weapons. So you can all join in as well if you use the summon.
That's cool.
I thought the self-doubt. I didn't know what the heck I was doing with the self-doubt. It took me a while to figure out that I had to run into it.
I died once before I figured it out too.
But I did like the it was interesting, and I seen somebody mention that it only had specific people there for the self-doubt, not everybody. Like there's no Zosha, for example, or. So that was kind of interesting, but I liked the self-doubt, right? I really liked the, you caused this to happen, and
it just
you
feels like
got
another
me killed, and blah blah blah. And it's like, I didn't do any of that stuff. I got no doubts. Let's get this over with.
Yeah, there was some of the things they said. I was like, that's a lie. No.
Deal with it. Let's move on.
I do like how fighting your doubt, or like kind of like your doppelganger. It's kind of like Shadow Link. You're fighting your yes, which happened in the Crystal Desert. Which happened in the Crystal Desert. So that was a nice tie-in.
A little bit as well. When we met with Torayasa and stuff. Like they've given this kind of reference to us a couple of times, and I just hope there's an opportunity to come close to doing it real when we go to the Crystal Desert. Spoilers, we're going to the Crystal Desert, but we know that.
I think this episode for me, it was a lot like the Head of the Snake, because there's a lot of callbacks to personal story choices. There's a lot of callbacks to Guild Wars 1. I think that they did a really phenomenal job explaining like what the eye is. If you didn't raid or if you didn't play Guild Wars 1, you see this giant triangle eye, which is really cool. You have no idea what that's about, and they explain to you what that's about, what it is, what its purpose was and stuff. So I don't know, I think they did a really good job sort of explaining to non-Guild Wars 1 players, non-raiders, whoever, what a lot of these points were, who Livia was, why she's important.
There was so much lore at the end of that Shining Blade. If you go around the Shining Blade instance, if you go around afterwards and read all the books and talk to all the NPCs, there's tons of lore there. Tons of
I missed the books. I gotta go back to the books.
There's so much. I was reading the books for like 45 minutes. There was so much lore. I mean, stuff about who the Shining Blade was. They talk about Evenia. They talk about Livia. It's really in depth and really gives you a great recap of who the Shining Blade are and what their purpose is.
They did do a fantastic job with the lore in that bit. And
so what about the cutscene we get that leads to the expansion announcement with Balthazar?
It was good. It was the vision, right? Because we asked. She said, "You can ask anything of the eye," and we say, "Where's Balthazar?" And it shows us this vision, and it's the same, like it's a like the moving concept art, kind of like you know, the cutscene that we got leading into Heart of Thorns. It didn't show us as much as the Heart of Thorns one gave us. But it kind of shows you Balthazar, and it shows you, like, you know, his fire coming down across these fields. It shows you some, like, pyramids in the background and, like, some columns. To me, it wasn't obvious that it was the Crystal Desert. Like, after the vision, I'm glad my player character said, well, it looks like we're going to the Crystal Desert, because that's where he is. And I was like, oh, that was the Crystal Desert? That was what that was supposed to be?
Well, no, we had a vision of Kralkatorrik in there as well. There was a vision of a dragon.
Right, I didn't know that was a dragon. Did you? First.
I thought it was Glint. Like, it was kind of like connecting Glint with the Crystal Desert. It could have been Kralkatorrik.
That we get that goes a bit red.
Yeah. I
was like, that could be Glint. Then when you see the kind of proper profile of it, I was like, I don't know what that. It looks too fiery, but then I guess they're being attacked by fire, so it could have been. I just
everything was red.
Yeah.
Because everything was red, I was like, Primordus, but he's asleep. So I didn't make the connection right away. My brain didn't make it right away. But he lays waste. It looks like he's laying waste to the vision's very. When you look at it, it seems very clear. He's going to kill Kralkatorrik, and the world is basically going to end. He's going to set everything on fire, like it was.
Yeah.
Kill the dragon, and then the world ends. You see the pyramids, you know,
it's like a prophecy
upwards.
Right.
And then it looks over his shoulder, which was really cool, and he gives you that one red eye.
It's so cool.
To me, he looked like a dragon in that shot.
Yeah, he looked draconic. Like
he looked just like the end of Guild Wars 1. When you look at the Great Destroyer's eye, it zooms, it sort of focuses in on the eye, and it does the same thing with Balthazar's eye.
Oh,
yeah.
totally
okay,
right.
So I've seen some people being like, "Oh, how did we know it was the Crystal Desert?" I feel like we did know, because earlier in the episode, Timmy says, you know, like we put Jormag and Primordus to sleep, so he needs to go after another dragon.
And there's
right?
only 2 left.
So obviously it's gonna be Kralkatorrik.
Right.
So I figured that should have been more than enough. I love that cutscene. I know it was really short, and I guess I would have liked it to be longer, obviously, but the music was so good in that. Though.
Music was cool.
It's like I really, really like the music in that, and. You know, at the end, we get that whole next week we're getting the expansion reveal, and that's a fine trade-off for me. You know, like, if we had got a big cutscene and then we're told to wait, like, till the end of August or something, that would have been fine, but this is the better option. I'd rather a quick kind of tease and then find out just a few days. It's 6 days from now. We're gonna.
It's funny. It's I think for most players, they're like, "Oh my God, 6 days feels like an eternity right now." For me, I don't have enough time to do anything I need to get done.
I agree.
Yeah. I have so much content
to make.
It's really quick. I've barely played we're going to talk about the map and stuff. I barely had time to do anything else. There's so much I need to do in 6 days. It's 5 days, whatever it is now.
Yeah, it's really quick. They didn't.
I'm very excited,
they didn't give us
but...
I was a little disappointed that at the end of that cutscene, I basically wanted it to be exactly like the Heart of Thorns one. You know, it's this big long cutscene. We've got tons to speculate on, and then you see the animated logo, and you get the name of the expansion.
Yeah,
I would get that. I was like, "Where's the name? Where's the logo?
Yeah,
Where is it?"
I would have been happy if we had gotten the name. Like,
but
I was kind of counting on that.
I guess they had one chance to do that, and they took it with Heart of Thorns, where it comes out and it goes around, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, what's Heart of Thorns? What does it mean?" I mean, even though we were like, "Yeah, it's an expansion," there was always that kind of like little mysticism thing going about it, wasn't there?
Yeah, yeah, it was cool. Yeah, and then hearing different people, like people thought it was going to be a bundle of all the episods.
Season 1.
Yeah, and I remember Alex making jokes about how it's a new PvP map, stuff like that. Like, it would have been cool, but. I don't know, like, I think this is fine. It's so soon.
Yeah. I see somebody saying maybe they'll do a longer trailer for the announcement on the 1st, and I think there's a good possibility of that. It'll start with what we've seen and then extend a little bit more, and then, get the name and all that stuff, right? So
there's something that... Oh, go on, sorry.
I was just going to say, even if we got the name, like, we wouldn't get, like, the features, you know? Like, I expect August 1st to be, like, the features of the expansion, just like they did with Heart of Thorns in their big announcement. Like, we're, right on stage, we're going to tell you every major feature of the expansion. Yeah. So I guess I expect August 1st to be that.
do we want to do some wild speculating? Because on Reddit last week, Lindsay Murdoch went on Reddit and she let slip an acronym. She let slip.
I don't know if it was.
I don't know. I'm so that leaves
What
a
do we
bad
think?
taste in my mouth. Just because I feel like
here's
that's
the
a
thing.
leak, an unintentional
here's-
leak. But
Here's the thing that kills me
We
about
don't
that.
have to talk about it, but like,
I'll
I
just
don't
say
know.
this. I'll just say this about it. She says in that conversation, she says that acronym, and then someone's like, "Oh my God, is that the expansion?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm used to saying internal names, right?"
yeah,
So it sounds like that acronym was the internal name that they
The
gave
internal
it.
name of the expansion that will become external name when they launch it.
I
do
mean,
know
hey.
for a fact. My interview with Colin after Heart of Thorns, he said that they didn't decide on Heart of Thorns as a name
Yeah, it was, like, the
until like
last
2
setup,
weeks
right?
before. Like,
Yeah,
and they're like, okay, we really need to decide so we can get
probably
this
don't know
animated
yet.
logo done in time for the review. But yeah, I don't know whether it's an internal name or not. I mean, I've seen it everywhere in the community. It's pretty much just, I mean, there's
There
memes
is-
about it.
There is something that lends a little bit more credence to the fact of it, but as Ikun was saying, that people on Reddit and stuff were finding out that the EAN, which is like the barcode thingy, as far as I understand, has like the acronym in it or something like that.
Oh.
So people are very they do their homework.
Yeah,
They do
they
their
do,
homework,
right.
I guess.
Thing is, it was like the day of the last patch in season 2. I think that's when people discovered the trademark for Heart of Thorns. So it was the same
Oh.
day as the finale when we
Yeah.
got the logo and everything. But like,
I think I managed to avoid
floating
that.
around.
Yeah, I did
That
too.
didn't happen this time, which I'm kind of glad. It gives them, I
Yeah.
like leaks because I'm impatient as hell, right? But at the same time,
Sure.
I like it when they're able to do a big reveal where it's actually all surprises. It's such a cool, I don't know, it's cool. Stuff like this, like not knowing that we're gonna get the reveal next week until yesterday, and then it's like, oh my god, it's only a week, and we know nothing about it. Like that's amazing to me, because it means on Tuesday it's gonna be like mind blowing, and everything they say is gonna be interesting to me, right?
Yes.
My personal opinion is that POF stands for plenty of fish, and it's 30 hours of trying
the
to find
Guild
Lord
Wars.
Farron a date.
Dude, I'd play that, man. I'd
We
play
set him
that.
up. We set him up a profile, and
Oh, man.
eligible
Sword
bachelorettes in the Crichton homelands.
That'd be great.
I'd
dude.
play that. It's
I'd
better
play
than Honey Pop at any rate.
I'd date him.
Where have we got the mini of him just in his pants and him just going around? I'm Swordmaster Farron.
Swordmaster Farron.
These are my budgie smugglers.
I do hope that in the future, whether it's a story or a current event or maybe an expansion, I do hope that we get to see Livia again at some point.
Mhm.
She-
I was actually gonna
It would be
mention this.
criminal if we didn't.
That's
She
something
sort
else
of
I was
says,
going to
you
say.
know,
I hope that us having taken that Shining Blade oath and we are magically wired to die if we reveal any secrets, if that comes... Okay. If that comes back into it somehow, then it's like that, okay, that instance would have made more sense. It would have had a longer payoff. Like, we have to make this decision to tell or
and it
not.
still can.
Yeah, so that's a possibility. I don't know if it will. I kind of doubt it will, but I think that would be a cool thing.
I don't think it's going to have any major impact, this whole Blood Oath Death Pact thing. Because you can just imagine it's like, I really need to tell you something. Come on, Max Crier. Just look, 10 minutes would be fine. Just come on.
How did you feel about? How did you feel about Dragon's Watch's exclusion from the patch, more or less?
Yeah, we didn't
Fine.
see, like, anybody.
I'm fine with it. I didn't
really
after this
get
season,
fine.
I don't really care. Like,
Yeah.
throughout Heart of Thorns, you know, you're with people all the time, and it kind of is like, yeah, we're this band of whatever. But this whole season has felt really solo, apart from Timey.
Yeah.
It's kind of felt like we've been doing a lot of stuff on my own, so I didn't really notice an absence. It would have been nice, obviously, in retrospect, but I didn't notice the fact that
I actually
think part
agree.
two-
It wasn't until the episode was over and I had the really good feeling. I'm like, that was a great episode. And then I went, wait a minute. We didn't see
Where the hell am I
anybody.
Where are my guildmates?
Yeah, like, nobody.
It's interesting.
no one's online.
It's interesting because a lot of the times when you meet in season 3 specifically, a lot of times when you meet people, they either downplay you or they upplay your accomplishments of killing dragons. And a lot of players sort of, I see, go along with this with their speculation and such. But people forget we didn't solo kill any of the dragons. We always had a team with us.
Yeah.
Regardless of how useful or unuseful that team was, we always had a team with us. We didn't kill Zaitan by ourselves. A giant laser shot off his tail and then cannoned him down. We went into Mordremoth's mind. We didn't go by ourselves, so...
We wouldn't have been able to do it without Traherne either. Like,
yes, the commander is great, but the commander is great at leading other people into difficult situations in combat.
But this
not just about being the solo hero by themselves.
But we never lead anybody this season.
Like,
well, and that's
not even a commander anymore.
We're trying
that's kind of
to.
my point. Like, this is a big departure. As a commander, we're sort of failing this season in a lot of ways.
And like we were there at top of the pact for so long, but we still had people kind of carrying our duties. And I think it's funny that like we leave that and then start our own guild to lead, and then it just screws up everyone.
We can't get like any cohesive guild.
Dude,
yes, Ritlock is with us. Oh, okay, he's going off to jail.
By then.
Well, and I was saying this last week in a lot of places, and I know that people weren't happy about it, but they in season 3 they did to Ritlock what they did in season 2. He has a little bit of screen time. He jumps into the mists. He's gone for the season.
Kind of thing, yeah.
You don't see him to the expansion. Same thing happens in season 3. He's around for a little bit. He doesn't really tell you anything. He goes off to jail, and then you never see him again.
He's gonna show up in the expansion as like the next Revenant Elite spec.
Right,
We're like, how did you become that?
Jailbreaker.
Later, Cub. I only have 3 episodes. There's no time to explain.
Should have got a part in Destiny, shouldn't he? I don't have time to explain why I don't have time to explain.
How did you guys like that Fate's Razor kind of joke?
Yeah.
You guys
that was cute.
I thought that was, I was like, it was a nice little healthy chuckle.
Yeah.
It was nice.
A sensible chuckle, was it?
Yeah.
So what about the map?
The map was the shiznit.
Map is great.
Yes. It was cool. Best map. And for some reason, I always think that Orion oysters mean testicles because of like. Because there's this thing. Wait,
or not?
No, but it's for some reason in my mind you can go to like Colorado and you get like Colorado oysters, which is like deep fried sliced bull testicles, and for some reason that just like sticks in my mind that we're just going around harvesting testicles around from ore, and there's probably the place to discuss that, isn't it?
So that's why you like the map, huh?
That's why I like the map. I love it. Give me the balls.
The map was insanely good, man.
It was really cool.
So fun to just go around and explore stuff. Like for lore reasons, it's like big and important, but just in like in terms of how it looks. And yeah, okay, there's different temples or shrines or whatever, but like it's quite varied as well. Like in just everything. It felt to me like out of all of the maps we've got in season 3, it felt like the most Guild Wars 2 map out of all of them.
Yeah.
It didn't have like a lot of the maps have like a novelty. Like Dark, I really liked because it felt kind of vanilla-y as well. But like, it just felt like it belonged in Guild Wars 2. Yeah. And maybe it's just like some new maps that are so new. It's kind of like, oh, I need to get used to this. I remember feeling the same when like the Silver Waste came. I was like, this is really new and weird.
When I was playing it with the guys last night, what one of them said, it feels like a vanilla map.
Yeah,
it feels like a vanilla map. And what was so cool about it, it felt like ore.
Yeah,
but I mean, it was all, yeah. But it was so nice that where you land on the beach, just up the way from that, it's like you've got the plant life starting to grow back, and because everyone's been clamoring for a little bit of a cleansed ore for years and years and years, seeing this first little bit of life being breathed back into ore, even though we've got like the big weird plants and that, and even as you like venture further in, you've got like the mushrooms, and even though they're like the thorny vines and that kind of thing, it's just kind of like we're seeing plant life that we've not really seen before in ore, and it's it probably feels like you've just been pushed on into the future of the main kind of Guild Wars 2 story a bit. Just through like interacting with the map, I felt a lot more connected to the original personal story
100%.
than I had done in quite a long time, because as cool as some of the other story aspects have been since the end of the personal story, I always felt that we'd veered a little bit too far. Well, not too far, but we'd veered quite a way away from where
it felt disconnected from everything.
Yeah, we'd veered quite far away from where I think I was certainly expecting us to go. But then it's just kind of brought us back to war.
It's nice. It was like coming back home. Like it felt like quite, we're here again. Cool. I liked it.
I still have a lot of exploring to do. I mean, I've really
Oh,
just
yeah,
played through
I
the
barely touched
story.
it either.
I did do the jumping puzzle because people wanted me to.
Cool.
I used a teleport to friend. On the
No.
puzzle. Then realized you have to find 3
Boo.
chests. And then
I legitimately did the puzzle. I bitched and complained all the way up to the top.
What? Mate, it was cool. It was...
I just don't, and it's nothing against jumping puzzle. I was cursing Josh Foreman even though he didn't design the jumping puzzle the entire time.
It was the right balance between a vanilla jumping puzzle and Chalice of Tears. Chalice of Tears
I
was
will say,
I've still not done Chalice of Tears.
I will say that this one was
be that hard.
This one was a little bit. This one was definitely better for me. My downfall with jumping puzzles is I get lost in the puzzle very easily, and this one definitely had those moments where I was like, I don't know where the heck to go from here, and that always sort of frustrates me a little bit. But it wasn't as bad as say the volcano.
I don't mind the kind of getting lost thing. I think it's kind of part of the charm. The problem with me is like the jumping.
I guess.
Like I'm just not very good at it.
I'm the same
I like
with
platformers, but I just don't like. I'm just not good. I'll think of something and then try and do it, and I end up doing something different. I just screw up all the time.
It felt like a vanilla jumping puzzle. It felt really cool. I mean, obviously, you had gliding and a few bouncing mushrooms or whatever, but it felt. What it really reminds me of is not Scavenger's Chasm. The one Tribulation Rift in Dreadnought Drifts. The one where you have to go up the big tower and you go round and round and round, and eventually you jump over.
I love that one. If it's like that, then I'm gonna.
It felt like a much bigger version of that.
That's cool.
And it was really cool that the way that you work your way up round and round and round and round, and it just felt really, really nice. It felt like a mixture between Tribulation Rift and like going up one of the crate towers in Mount Maelstrom or something.
Yeah.
And that's why I loved this area so much. It just felt like
the ship at the top as well with the
it's
such a cool payoff.
Yeah, the ship goes on catches fire.
Yeah, it's like the very ghostly fire.
Yeah, if you get to the top, the ship catches fire. It's like this giant beacon on top of.
It's amazing. It's really
I get to the top and I open the chest or whatever you do, and everything was on fire. I'm like, why is the ship on fire?
I'm excited. I'm going to be doing it tomorrow with Bog.
It's cool, man.
The two of us are going to be doing it at the same time. I'm the same. I'm with Inks. I don't like finding my way because I'll get lost and then I'll get frustrated and and then I'll quit. But if I have people guiding me and telling me where to go, I like making the jumps. I like doing that part of it, and I made these jumps. I don't like trying to find where to go and getting lost. No, I don't like that.
That should be the puzzle, right? That's the challenge of doing the jumping puzzle, is making the jumps. If you're then also having to kind of play the lottery of whether you jumped in the right direction.
Right. That's the part I don't like. Personally, I know there's people who love that. They want to get literally lost in the jumping puzzle for 6 hours. I would quit. So if I have my community leading me through, like I've done all the jumping puzzles. The Draconis Mons one was just, I don't understand it. I followed people all the way through it and I still don't understand. I'm just like, you're flying around corners and I'm just like, what? Like, I don't know where I'm going. This is insane.
I accidentally took a portal to the end of the Draconis Mons one. I was like, I got the achievement points. The point is that.
Yeah, well, I think a good balance of kind of getting, like, I don't know, the Silver Waste one I loved. Like, and there was a little parts of that one which did feel like I'm not sure whether I should jump down there, or do I go there? But it was kind of a nice balance of kind of experimenting because of the checkpoints. It was kind of safe to experiment, right? And so then it encourages that thing without punishing you for it. I feel like when it's just like a mass of models and textures that are all like this, and do I jump on there? It doesn't look like I could, but I can and I should. I don't know. It's just I don't like those ones.
Yeah. And what was cool was they put in a special action key as well. So if you do cock up a jump, you just hit your special action key and it takes you back to the previous checkpoint.
Dude, that's genius.
Did the Draconis Mons one do that? I think it did.
It did.
It had
yeah.
checkpoints.
It
Oh,
had
did it?
checkpoints.
Yeah,
It did
I
have
think
checkpoints.
it did.
But
The checkpoints
you
are
don't
nice.
have to like, you don't have to like die to go back to the checkpoint or anything.
Right.
It's
you can
just
go
bam-
back if you miss a.
right,
or
okay.
something.
Apparently the Draconis Mons one did do it. But like I said, I've not done that one. But that
This
that's
system
just-
is a little
That
bit
one's insane.
different, but yeah,
Hmm.
checkpoints for sure, which is nice. The higher up I got, I got really close to the top, and I hadn't seen a checkpoint for a while, and I'm like, I was saying to chat, is there another? I really need a
There's only
checkpoint.
3, I think.
I'm gonna screw up. Yeah, there's like, I think there's 3. And they're like, nope, no more checkpoints. You're almost to the top. And I'm like, but I really need a checkpoint. I'm gonna fall any minute. But
What is it? What
you
is
know,
a
it
mass-
overall was enjoyable.
What is a massive troll on that map is that mastery point on the boat right next to that tower.
You have to go up to get
Yeah.
it, right? Like,
Yeah, you do.
right, okay.
As far as I know, yeah, I thought you might be able to get
That's
onto
why-
the smaller boat or to the ruins to the other
I
side.
tried for ages.
yeah,
and
you
I
can't
looked
get onto it.
underneath to see if there was a hole, anything.
Yeah,
there
me
wasn't.
too.
So I did end up going to the tower.
What
and
kills
then-
me about that is you get to there's diving goggles at the top of the jumping puzzle,
Yeah.
which there's an achievement for.
Oh
And it's not a
my.
crazy. You don't have to land in a barrel or anything, although I
just
think
dive
that's kind of
off.
fun.
Yeah.
But once you dive off and into the water, and then you go to the barge, and you're like, I gotta reclimb it now. Oh, son of
You've only got to go about. You've only got to go about a third of the way up, though.
yeah, halfway or a third of the way or whatever.
Oh,
it
you
is,
can
yeah,
use
but-
ley line energy and use the skill. And use the skill to get that ship. No need to. Right? Can.
Wait, what?
You
Is
can
there
use ley
so-
line energy.
Ley line.
I didn't see any energy.
Oh, that's how you do it. What you do is you on the mainland you kill one of the scavengers. You swim across onto the little barge next to it, and then you jump up.
Oh, that's it. I
Oh,
wasted a
God.
freaking teleport to friends. To...
Oh well, that's a good.
I didn't
tip.
even- tips,
I
that's-
didn't even know you could use. I
didn't. I did the jumping
mentioned
puzzle.
the
I
skill.
did all that area first before we did this. Before I did the story.
Right, right. That's cool. That's cool. I didn't know that.
There's so much to explore.
The only thing other about the map, and I haven't explored everything with the map, so I'm missing a lot of the lore. I'm missing a lot of the dialogue, obviously. I did want the map to be a little bit more regrown than it is.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
I'm glad they put
I
the
hope that
lore
they
in there
revisit
because there
it.
was a lot of Sylvari. As soon as
Right,
you get
yeah.
there, you see a lot of Sylvari, and they're like, it's their wild hunt to kind of, clean up the undead and put them back into the soil so that it can regrow. Because there's magic using still animating them, the Zaitan magic.
Yeah.
So if you kill them, put them in the ground, then that magic can make flowers and
I think
plant life grow.
a criticism I have of the map isn't really a criticism because it's completely fair enough and understandable, but it's just it feels really condensed, and that's a good thing. But if it was just a bit bigger, it felt like all of the temples or the reliquaries, whatever they're called, felt
Right.
really close together, quite jammed. And it's condensed, so that's fine. It means there's always something going on and stuff. But I think it would have done the map a bit more justice. Just not even add any
Yeah.
more content, but just space everything out just a little bit.
Hmm.
Make it like a little road or something like to link them a bit more together. It would have been cool.
So, which of the 4 reliquaries was our favorite? And of course, there
Oh,
is only one
what?
right answer to this.
There is only one right answer.
There is only one right answer.
Oh.
That is correct.
I don't know that I've spent
only-
enough time in all of them
I was
to
gonna
really
say,
pick
I've
a
only done-
favorite.
I've
Definitely,
only done them once.
definitely not Balthazar mechanically because I go there and I just die instantly. Like everything just kills me.
Yeah, but you got that cool knockback like buff thing that was like felt.
No.
so
That really
You get a
did, that
knock-
really got on.
Back buff.
Yeah.
If you, there's
Yeah,
like a
you do.
fountain of lava, and if you commune with it, then all of your
What?
attacks like knock back.
Yeah.
What?
It's
I didn't know
really-
this.
It makes the whole thing way easier.
I
Because you're
didn't
supposed
get
to
a lot of
knock
time
the
to do a lot of
enemies into the
exploration.
lava, right?
Right. That's one
I
of
think
the
so,
hard
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, but no, mine was going to be Dwayne. The thing with the thing with the wyvern.
I did do the wyvern fight. That is amazing.
I have
The
so
wyvern
And-
fight
and
is
you get like a little
so
achievement
cool.
for flying through its poison circles.
Yeah,
I've
I
not
think-
done.
Oh, dude, it's so
the
cool.
wyvern fight is so
I
good.
did. There was an event to just clear poison clouds, right? Which was
That's the
really
heart.
fun to do.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Is that just
If-
always there? Okay.
Every
Yeah.
on a timer, the wyvern will show up. Yeah,
but that's
make
cool.
sure
I
you
need to
do
do
that.
that.
It's
Oh,
really
wyvern is
cool.
so good.
You use like the gliding skills.
I like the skills, yeah.
To
yeah.
get close
I
to
didn't-
it, and then
'cause
you,
I
like,
didn't
drop
the Dwayne.
magic
It
on it or
felt
something.
hectic. like with the clouds and all the updrafts and everything. It just looked really messy to look at. But,
no, it was amazing. Okay,
I really like the list.
I did. I think I went clockwise around the map. So I did. You start out doing Melandru, and then I did Grenth, and then I got to and those two were kind of similar. I liked how when Melandru, whenever you use the like that whatever the one skill is on a corpse, the little flowers grow because it's Melandru. I thought that was an awesome touch.
Cool.
The little wraiths in the Grenth at the Grenth reliquary are like really cool looking. They like sometimes they like start dancing. I'm like, yeah, you dance.
Those guys, man.
So those were like really cool. And then when I got to Dwayna, I didn't even like realize the transition. Like I didn't even realize what was happening. All of a sudden I was gliding in these updrafts and going through these poison clouds and everything.
Were so fun.
And I got super Legend of Zelda temple vibes because I felt like, okay, now I'm in the air temple. And like because the mechanics like changed so much, it wasn't just running around killing stuff on the ground. Like you were going through and these poison clouds and up and down. There was like that constant updraft, and it just felt really good. I felt like this is so different.
Like the artifacts that send you flying around as well.
Yeah.
The skills were really fun. The barrel roll kind of thing.
Yeah,
it was good. I really liked the Lissa one. I like that kind of
that was
I
crazy.
like that kind of RNG. It reminded me of like the Pokemon gyms you get, like the psychic gyms, where it's just teleporters everywhere, and you just have to keep wandering around, going into different ones to try and find your way. Like I really liked the Lissa one. It was cool.
I think my favorite was Lissa.
Yeah.
All the all the mesmer portals, and there's a shadow beast. He would move around, and he was sort of fun to try and get your hands on. And
it was cool. I like the little
and the jester,
the jester guy.
There's a jester ghost at Lissa, and he tells little jestery kind of jokes. And,
I haven't seen him yet.
Did anyone recognize the Melandru ghost?
Was that Reza or Raza?
King Reza of Aurora, man. He's the guy that turns up in the original personal story when you go to
the name sounded familiar.
When you go to Aura in the Vision, he's the king that talks to you, and he was
the main eye of Zaitan.
Yeah,
Zaitan had the eyes and the mouths.
Yeah.
Well, the eyes were all old Orient kings that he had pilfered their tombs and turned them into eyes of Zaitan, and you free him, who was like the main one in the personal story, and he appears again here.
Yeah, cool. Just all that little kind of nodbacks to like the personal story or to Guild Wars 1.
It just felt really crazy because here we are in like the most contemporary piece of Guild Wars 2 content. Like post the first expansion, it's still referencing all these things. It just felt like it was kind of gluing everything together. It was really nice.
And then there was the thing that you could. What did you guys think of using map currencies to buy the res shrines?
I loved that. And I liked it. Felt like the resurrection.
I didn't buy any
shrines,
of them,
dude. It was like you did it,
dude. I got so used to one waypoint. I'm like, I don't need more waypoints. Screw this.
It was cool, right? They're definitely a throwback to like the resurrection.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
One, right?
Some people, I've seen some people really didn't like it. They were like, "What is the point? And this feels like pointless progression." But I don't know. I think like you're saying, I think it's a throwback thing. I didn't even necessarily need them, so.
I'm gonna buy them. I mean, I've already got like 30 barrels, so.
And they're account bound as well. We're account bound.
Back pieces. Yeah. Did you guys see it?
I just saw those this morning.
I was really. I don't quite. I mean, I see like the circles of the ore stuff, but I don't quite get the design of them.
Sorry, I'll let you talk.
The only one that made sense to me was Lissa, because hers turns into a butterfly.
Yeah.
Well, Grenth is like an insect. It's like a scarab.
Is it? Yeah.
So it's kind of like the plague death thing. So like.
But do they change when you enter combat? Or like I didn't have enough to buy one.
I've not bought one yet.
They will have done. Yeah, I think it is the change thing.
It'd just be interesting to see if you buy all 4 of them, if you can slap them together. Like this Transformer. If you bought all 4, you push them together. And you made like a bigger
I'm not
robot.
sure where this is, but it's data mined, but it's not really a spoiler or anything. But there's an Abaddon one that isn't tied to any hearts, so I think there might be a combine or. I don't know if you guys have been to his thing.
If you could combine them all.
His one's the coolest because actually one bit kind of floats up during the animation. It makes
Oh,
it seem
cool.
way
Maybe
more
I haven't
magical
seen
rather than
these.
mechanical.
No.
I haven't even
They're
looked at
the
everything on all the
quest
hearts
rewards.
yet.
That's it.
Yeah, they're on the
But
hearts.
I like this idea. We know this ancient Orion architecture, the rings and the kind of arcs and stuff, but we don't really know how they were built or anything. And this is like it seems like the new legendary hammer, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. It kind of feels like a piece of like their technology.
Right, yeah.
Like this ancient thing that you've like uncovered. I really like that. And I like it just seems strange, kind of alien, and I like how weird.
Yeah, Listus turns into an iron butterfly.
What?
Yeah.
I have not seen these yet. I need to. Oh my goodness.
They kind of remind me of the spinal blades a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, Abaddon with all the tentacles.
Yeah.
Weapons are
Oh, those
Let's
weapons.
while we are here, how much traditionally have new Black Lion sets cost, boys and girls?
Oh
a
boy.
single ticket, Alex, my friend.
How much do the Abaddon weapons cost, ladies and gentlemen?
I think 2 times
costs-
1
You
ticket.
think 2 tickets?
Yes, I believe
It's just
so.
one ticket twice. It's not 2.
Zing!
To quote a
Yeah.
famous
2 tickets.
philosopher,
It's
what the
2
dick is that about?
It's just they're cool
Oh.
skins, but
That
do they
could
really
get-
warrant it?
But I'm so close to buying a bunch. I've got 3 tickets.
Mm.
I could buy 3 weapons instead. I can only buy.
You can't buy 3 though, Alex, because they're.
I can only buy 1. That's my conundrum.
You can buy them from the trading post.
But you can buy more keys and open chests
Yeah, but
to
they'll
get
be like
more
double
tickets.
the price. Just buy more keys.
I don't know. I don't agree with the 2 ticket price tag for a brand new set. You know, they're already gonna price gouge you when the set goes out of favor to 3 tickets or 5 tickets or whatever it becomes.
Yeah.
And when they bring those
if they're-
sets back, they still charge you 5 tickets or 3 tickets. So.
It's gonna be
if
10
there were
tickets when
some
it comes
kind of-
back.
If they were like iconic ones, right? Like the Guild Wars 2 Guild Wars 1 weapons that they brought in, like the Chaos ones or the Tormented ones. If they're priced higher, it's kind of like I kind of get it because it's like a legacy thing that they're trying to. But these ones, they're really cool skins. I really like these skins.
Yeah,
Some of them
but
are
I
very
think-
nice.
The,
But I
the
think,
animations
are they really?
Wow.
Are they special enough to? Be
Hopefully
2
it's just a
tickets?
one-time thing. Remember when they did the one-time thing where they were account bound?
Yeah.
Hopefully it's just a
the,
one-time
Inks
thing.
remembers.
You can't
Inks
delete that
remember.
memory.
Which ones
I
were
mean-
compound? I've forgotten.
The
I forget what
the
they
heck
were
is the name of the
called,
set?
but
They
yeah.
weren't even good weapons, though.
No,
There
they
was
weren't.
nothing spectacular about them. They're just,
No.
for some reason, those ones were account bound.
Somebody in chat will know the name of them off the top of
Yeah.
their head. but
Yeah.
I don't
I
remember
guess
the
it's a
name,
good
but,
thing that they were kind of.
They were
boring.
like flintlock weapons or something.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Whatever.
But yeah, it's
I don't know.
no the Crichton Herald hentai weapon skins have been and gone. That was the Sclerite set.
The Sclerite
That was one of the
set.
very first sets we got.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
that
just,
was,
I
that
don't-
was the Sclerite backpack. That was proper like Legend of the
I
Overseer.
still
Wasn't
like
it? That was weird.
I still think that's cool.
Privateer.
Privateer
Privateer.
was account bound for some reason. Do you think it could have something to do with, like, the animations on those tentacles are ridiculous. Like, they're so good. And that's got to take a lot of, like, processing power. Do you think it has something to do with they want less people running around with these skins with all this animation?
No, I mean,
Oh,
you can
man,
buy
that'd
them
be-
if you want to.
That'd be a really strange.
That was
decision.
my only thought. I don't know.
I think that they just wanted to
Were
test
they
the waters for
physics-based?
2-ticket, cool-looking weapons, and
Yeah.
I mean,
see
things-
how many
what they
It's
people
do-
buy
Abaddon.
them.
He's evil. He was just like, I will charge them 2 tickets because he needs his
Yeah,
cut.
yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
He needs his cut.
It's just that they are so
Damn.
cool that you can. They're almost justified in asking for 2 tickets, but the principle is that a Black Lion weapon skin costs 1 Black Lion ticket. That
Yeah.
has been the baseline since forever.
sure.
Yeah.
And
Did they
it's
up the
just-
drop rate or something though? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Scrap?
Oh,
I've
I don't know.
not-
There was some Black
It
Lion
didn't feel
chest
like it.
changes. Inks,
Yeah, it
I
didn't
immediately
Yeah,
thought of
well,
you.
Everyone did. Everywhere. I looked, on
Everyone
Twitter,
said
everywhere,
Inks.
Everyone was talking about Inks. So I
Tell
kinda could
Inks.
see the reaction
I
to
think you guys give me a little too much credit. Everybody's like, they did this because of you, either good or bad, whether you like that change or not, I guess. And I'm like, I would love to take full credit, and I will take full credit, but I don't think it was totally me.
But then
But
they
yeah,
added the mystic
Homes are gone.
Tomes of knowledge are gone. from Black Lion
Oh,
chests.
no. What a
Well,
shame.
well,
And
crusade for
unidentified
now.
dies.
Now that's slightly different because you can use those for scribing.
Well, so here's the thing
Right.
about unidentified dies. I think one of the reasons they removed unidentified dies was because in the previous chest they flooded the market
Yeah.
with
Mhm.
unidentified dies really badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what they put into place is interesting. They changed the chest to remove boosters so that they could put a booster back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
It's
be
a cool
fair,
booster, though. It's a good.
it's a
booster.
cool booster.
It
and
is.
it's-
It is.
But it's a booster.
But also Mystic
Uh,
Forge Stones as well.
Yeah,
and Mystic
everyone's
Forge
favorite
Stones.
item in the entire game. How many Mystic Forge Stones do you guys use every day?
I've got like 8 stacks, and I
Oh
don't
my
open that many
God.
Black Lion.
Yeah, I have like 300. And I used to use them all the time to make Mystic salvage kits.
Salvage kits, yeah. But
They,
once
they
you have
brought back
permanent use, there's-
Yeah.
they brought back the bonfire, which is kind of interesting as an
That's
uncommon
cool.
drop.
I miss those,
Um,
man. Used to see those at world bosses all the time. It was
Yeah.
And they added 2 new items as well to the rare drop. They upgraded, and I'll never see these, and I want them very badly. But the upgraded leather and the upgraded cloth, so it drops a higher tier.
What,
than
the
ones that they
nodes?
sell?
Yeah.
The nodes, yeah.
yeah. They're like upgraded.
My only issue with this,
I want
and it's a
those.
very nitpicky issue, so please keep that in mind, is that, well, first of all, these things are going for like 2K. That'll lower over time, but they're always going to be worth 800-900 gold probably. So I'll never own them unless I get super lucky. But what this does is the other nodes that used to occupy that rare slot were already being heavily manipulated by the trading post. People will buy them up and hoard them and charge you crazy amounts.
Yeah.
And the iron node specifically, which was only in the chest for a very short period of time, hasn't come back yet. Has yet to come back. If you can even find one, which is very difficult to do, it is worth like thousands of gold.
Really?
So yeah. So my only problem with some of these things they put in here is they really limit the availability of them on the trading post, and they sort of make. In some ways, that's a good thing, right? It's not really super negative because when you do get one of these drops, that means you've hit like a jackpot, right? You feel really good about that reward, which you need to feel when you're opening an RNG Blackline chest, especially if you paid for it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it does mean that the trading post players, those who are very good at that, will totally manipulate that situation very hard, and you know, so there's ups and downs to that. I guess.
Trading wars.
Yeah. They also added the we've not actually spoken about this as a while. It was the other week, but the Black Lion, the hunting board thing.
Oh, the thing
They
for
added
like
on the
random
gym
materials.
It could have been
What-
so cool. Imagine
what
getting
was
like a Witcher contract, man, and like hunt me
That'd be so
Scale
cool.
But
today or
instead
something.
you get like it's like a bunch of tier 1
one
to
T6 mat like every
Yeah.
day. Thanks, bud.
Yeah,
It's like less than your login.
look
reward.
after the pennies, I guess.
1,000 gems for less than your login rewards.
1,200. It's $15. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
$15.
That's
I mean,
at
the
least
price,
I
price
mean,
tag
that's
is a bit
half of Heart of
expensive.
Thorns, I think,
and you
on
can't share it like the other mining
Yeah.
goods. People can
That's
come
the
in
worst.
and
Like, that's the worst.
And I've seen some people say, well, that's because this thing automatically gets delivered. You don't have to go back to your home instance unless you want to change what it's giving you.
I
It
guess
just
that
keeps
makes
delivering. But
sense. The
you have to
difference
go to
is,
your home distance to mine the other nodes anyway.
Right.
but that's the thing. Like the convenience isn't really convenience, and there was nothing stopping them add like a delivery box that you interact with to gather. the
Yeah,
mats.
that's true. Yeah.
It was. I think it was a very conscious design choice, which
For sure.
I
That's
will
an
say this though, I still think the Guild Wars 2 jet.
Oh, you cut out. There you go.
I'll do
Better?
voiceover for him. He thinks it's the best thing ever, and you should buy right now.
it only you cut out, but it only lasts a couple seconds.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I think that the Guild Wars 2 gem store is by far the best microtransaction shop
It's being
in,
censored. You're
in an
being
MMO.
I think it's your ESO buddies, DDoS, and you. Whatever.
Right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Right, because this is my point. The ESO shop gouges you like it's going out of fashion. Everything is just...
Yeah, I remember you were
Man.
saying you need to like pay money for like just bags to hold materials or something, like material storage.
In ESO,
I spent a lot of money on material storage in Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, no, me too. But
it's optional.
In ESO, you
That
have to get the
forces
subscription
you.
thing. You have to get the subscription thing to get access to a crafting bag, which puts all your crafting materials into it. Otherwise, it just gums up your inventory. But
It's just the press.
but their thing is like you're paying like £12 for a costume, and
I'm glad outfits aren't.
Nah, we pay $10 for outfits, so
that's true.
I mean,
But that last set looked really cool though. But I've not taken the plunge and bought it yet. The one with like the dynamic,
Iron Man suit
and the dynamics glider.
cool.
Looks really cool, and it's like I really want. But 700 gems you can.
Okay, so I have a conundrum. Basically, everything that they added in this last Black Lion chest, like I want the
glider.
bird. I want the glider. Both of the sets, I love both of those sets, like the Dwayna set and like the Daydreamer set. Like,
Isn't the bird like a little Dwayna bird?
Oh my god, it's a little Dwayna bird. It's a little white bird. It's got a little Dwayna like hat on. Oh my god. And then the glider. I want the glider. This. Okay.
The glider looks lovely.
You guys.
You like the glider?
I love the glider. I'm just going to like do my key farm every week and pray that I get a lucky drop. If we get to like the day before the expansion launches and I don't have it yet, because they'll probably change what's in them for the expansion. So I might have to buy keys because I love the glider and I love the mini.
Yeah.
So the good news is the rare weapons, the Daydreamer, will plummet. They're already plummeting, but they will plummet in value.
That is a
so
good
you should
thing.
be able to pick them up for 20, 30 gold a piece, if not less, depending.
Yeah.
So that's good news. That's good news on that part. The little bit of data that I do have, I think I opened 80 chests. Yeah, I opened about 80 chests, and I got.
Damn.
Yeah, and I got. I don't think I have the notes in front of me, but I think I ended up with 3 of the glider backpacks and 5 of the birds.
What do you do with multiple ones?
So the trick is, if you're opening Black Lion chests and let's say you get the bird, add it to your account right away. Otherwise, you're gonna have to contact, customer service and unlock the package right away. When you open the package, it'll give you a back piece, which is less impressive looking, and the glider. And make sure you add the back piece will automatically be added, but make sure you add the glider to your gliders. Otherwise, when you open a double, it won't turn into 2 keys. It'll just add it.
If it's already unlocked on your account and you get another one, you get 2 Black Lion keys instead, automatically.
That's cool.
If you've already added it to your account.
That's a good channel.
Yeah.
Because I have a million minis of them.
And the automatic bag of materials or whatever it is this time is kind of interesting. It gives you a lot of tier 5, but it also drops tier 6. It can drop mystic coins. It can drop the map currencies. It can drop any of the map currencies.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So, that can help you with, trinkets or necklaces or whatever you're trying to save up for there. And it can also drop some lodestones. I think I got a charged lodestone out of one. So it drops tier 5, tier 6 materials, basically.
That's good.
And some other stuff. It's nice.
At least it's like some kind of gold value straight up.
Yeah,
really.
I feel like that's better than the unidentified dies. Which
Believe me, if I could give away extra birds and gliders and stuff,
I would love to be able to give away extras.
Yeah, I absolutely would.
Yeah. So let's talk about the legendaries. Both the legendary hammer. What?
We forgot about the mastery.
Oh, the mastery too. Yeah.
I've
so much patch, and we haven't even touched the fractal, which I haven't done yet. So.
All right, so
talk about it.
I feel like an idiot with the mastery. I unlocked the mastery. Yeah. I went to the guy to learn how to use it. I played some music. I have no idea. I mean, I know what the boons do, but I have no idea how the heck did I get that music, what I do with it exactly. It feels pointless to me.
Okay, I think the concept is really cool, and I think the effects of the buffs or the kind of debuffs or whatever you can give to allies or enemies are really, really cool. I'm still kind of confused about how to choose them because there's 5 different songs or 6 or something.
There's 5, one for every god.
5, yeah.
But not Cormir.
And the orbs are hard to see, like above my head. And, anyway.
So you find the thing. I think it's randomly.
I
in the
think it's
open world.
randomly as you're in battle, you'll see this big, bright, glowing ball
Gold light
of light.
thing.
You go to the light, and you'll get this like it looks like a music.
Sheet of music.
Yeah, like a sheet of music, whatever you call that. And there's the five orbs, and whichever one you have, and I think it's random. So if you have Dwayna, the Dwayna orb will light up, and it's like the blue orb with like the Dwayna symbol on it. And then you can use your special action key, I think, to play the song, and it does a certain effect, whatever effect Dwayna does. I think it actually like gives everybody a free res or something.
Yeah, Dwayna's is like the most OP of all.
Like if you die, you instantly get back up.
Yeah, that's so
nice.
good.
And it's like affects everybody around you.
I'm not sure.
I
I think
don't
it's
know.
just a rally. It might count as just a rally. I think it's similar to like in the kind of gladiator PvP thing. If you get that buff, that when you get downed, you instantly.
Yeah.
I think it's like that.
It was just a weird sort of, I don't know.
It's
It was
a
It's
cool-
more.
sort of-
I think it's more flavor than anything.
Yes,
practical.
it's more flavor than function. It's not like the Spider-Man or the stuff in the other maps. It's
gonna be
just
kind of
like a
you're
fun
like,
thing.
oh, cool, I can use this, but you're not like planning your strategy with it in mind
Right,
at all.
right.
Especially because it's RNG, which kind of God song you play. What I did like though is the everything you like. What instrument you play is completely different depending on the god you're kind of channeling, which I thought was a nice little touch. Like Balthazar had like a drum, Gwent has like the
Yeah,
It's-
Balthazar's
and
is a
it
drum.
plays different
It's
things.
funny.
I'd be curious to see if you played all of them at the same time.
Yeah, I
whether
don't
it
know
would
if you
make,
can
like, a
play
kinda
multiple. I know you
cohesive
can
piece of
have
music.
multiple at the same time. I don't know if you can how do you.
If you
how
took
do
the
you use that?
audio and layered them, I wonder if it would kind of make a complete section of music.
That would
Like
be
with all of
awesome.
the layers, that'd be really neat. I
You're
want
just
to
playing
test
like
that.
5 instruments at the same time.
Yeah.
Flute,
But
and
it's
drums.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's cool. It's like you're right. It's a flavor thing. It's not something that is like required anywhere.
Especially because it kind of the map's namesake, right? It's about sirens.
Sirens Landing. Yeah,
And so
I
they
love
had
that
to
name.
kind of add like a thing, like it's obviously you're playing songs. It's kind of a siren-y thing. to
I
do,
just
so-
love the theme of the gods. I love it.
It's so good.
It's so.
There was no
it's-
Cormier though, right? I mean, it makes
No,
sense.
No.
because-
She wasn't a god yet, though, was she?
It was
Right.
still-
I was gonna say it makes sense for
Right.
the map, but like, is she mentioned anywhere in the like?
There's a bit which I found which chap called Chris Wins Tips mentions in chat that there's when you talk to the tutorial NPC, he says that Abaddon's sirens have gone quiet and he doesn't know who Cormier is, which would make sense because Cormier ascended to godhood. What maybe
She never went and lived in Or like the
no,
other
she-
gods
yeah,
did.
she was
right,
she was
yeah.
she was about 150 years after Or fell, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
It makes sense
So,
for Cormier, and
yeah.
then Abaddon's
So, I
dead,
mean,
so you can't channel his.
She might pop up in the expansion, though, potentially.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, there's
Possible.
there's a lot of cross-Elonian lore that goes
Yeah,
to the desert.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll see.
We'll
yeah.
see.
So Cormier ascends to godhood in 1075, or sinks in 1071.
Yeah,
So
if
she
you-
becomes a god 4 years after Or sinks.
So there's no
is that it? Jeez.
statues
yeah.
or anything.
Huh.
There, I don't know if you've been to the Abaddon area. Like you know the bit where you drop down in the
Yeah.
last
You drop down.
instance.
Oh, you
can do
can
that
gamble
again
In
in
the open
world.
world. Yeah.
And there's like a Zelda style like chest lottery thing. You know,
Yeah,
like you, can pick
you
one
get to pick a
today
chest.
of bunch of them. And I think maybe that could be where his back piece is an RNG thing.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
But
that's
you
the
have-
jackpot.
But to get down there, you have to do all of the other heart quests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
I love that, like a meta thing.
Down.
Like
Yeah,
once you
it's
do all the
kinda
heart
cool.
quests, you get that reward. Then after you've done the hearts for the day, you can go down there and get your extra reward. And then I think you can pay
right.
a gold and a half to open a second
re-roll.
chest because you're trying
Yeah.
to get the jackpot. Because the NPC actually tells you, "Oh, you didn't hit the jackpot, but not too bad," or "Wow, sorry."
It's such a Zelda thing, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
it's very cool.
Somebody posted they got 50 pearls out of it, like 50 of the
I
map
got-
currency.
I
Is that
got
the
like-
jackpot, or
I got
got
like
10.
15 or
I got like
something.
I think I got
Yeah.
12 pearls and then a bunch
I
of
think I
other
got
random
12,
stuff,
actually.
greens and
12
blues
was my
and
number.
imperial
It was
shards.
12
or
or
something.
13.
Yeah.
cool?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It's yeah.
I can't wait to have time to get back in there. Actually play
Yeah,
the
me
game.
too.
Oh boy.
So let's move on to the legendaries.
Legendaries, right.
So we got a new hammer, a new sword, which is the Shining Blade, which looks incredible.
Yeah.
Is unbelievable. Makes me want
I
to
want it.
learn a sword on something.
I want
so
that
I can
one.
use it. And then trinkets. Or accessories,
Legendary
or
trinkets.
legendary
Yes.
trinkets.
Yes.
I need to kind of look into that. I saw it was in the hero panel.
I need as many legendary trinkets as I can get my
So
hands
I think
on.
it's to unlock the collection. What you need to do is go through the episodes in season 3 and do the achievements that give you the gobblers. There's 4 throughout season 3.
Yeah.
And so you just need to have all 4 of those, then forge them together in the Mystic Forge, and that unlocks the. And also, what it does is it turns all of those 4 into just one that you can use for the functions of all of them. So it's like how they did with the portal thing. So it's useful to do anyway. But but it also that's what unlocks the first set, and I think it just takes currency from the maps or something so far.
Yeah.
I know the tier 2 collection then uses the Junlei ingots, and you have to charge
sounds
them
like
in
something I want to do.
I will say
I think
this
you can
too.
get the precursor so far.
A little tip: if you combine them into this new gobbler that sort of contains them all, and you don't like that for some reason, you can go back to Hobbs in LA and rebuy them for 1,000 magic each.
That's not bad then. Okay.
Nice.
I'm not sure why. Maybe
why would anybody would do that?
Well, maybe
guess
people
if you
threw them
delete
out
it
or
by
something by accident, right? Yeah. So
yeah.
it's good that they thought about that. But yeah, if you want to rebuy them, you can actually rebuy them. I don't know why you would want to have 2, but I mean, if you really did, you could.
Separate characters.
I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I just think
such
it's
a huge
brilliant.
thing, man.
Brilliant. We've been saying we need a reason to go back and play all of these maps, because like when the new one comes out, people move on to the next one and they forget the old one. And this is the perfect opportunity, this perfect reason for people to go back and play all the maps of season 3.
And especially because obviously I think this is just one accessory. I'm not sure whether it's what it's going to be, a ring or anything, but like they said
it's a start. I'll take it.
Yeah, they said though that there's going to be more coming, and they said those ones wouldn't be tied to the maps. But the thing is, if they're obviously all going to be probably unique in the same way, like you can't have 2 ascended rings that are the same. They'll probably do a similar thing. So if they make like that one tied to these maps forever, then it's gonna give people a permanent reason to be in those maps, which is I think a really clever.
They also said too something else that I thought was interesting in the AMA. They mentioned somebody asked about legendary weapons and what they're going to do with those, because they had mentioned that they were looking at doing the same thing that they did with armor, but that they need to look into it. And apparently one of the developers, I'm sorry, I don't know the name, but they had said that they have an idea of what they would probably like to do with it, but it still needs more like research and development from them. So kind of good news there, because legendary armor, even though it can be a bit of a hassle to swap things around, for me, invaluable. Totally invaluable. It frees up so much inventory space for me.
Yeah.
So
I'm nowhere near my legend.
I need that on weapons so badly.
They added a collection for legendary armor now. You get some like special title if you have all the pieces of legendary armor, like all 18.
Jesus. One day.
I remember seeing the achievement for the ascended gear that was like, have all of the ascended skins unlocked, and thinking, man, it's like a huge goal to go for. Jeez, but this is like on another level with all of the legends.
It's a lot of rating.
That's crazy.
But yeah, like the Shining Blade sword looks just cool.
Oh,
and
so
all
cool.
of the lights, and I've not seen the footfalls yet because
I haven't either.
Because we didn't get stage access this time around, so I couldn't mess around with it.
It prints the Shining Blade emblem.
Nice.
Does it?
On the
ground. Nice. But I really want to have a mess around with a hammer, because even though it looks cool, just kind of previewing it in a window doesn't really
doesn't do it any justice.
Yeah.
Have you seen the night form?
No, I have not.
It has a day and night cycle on the weapon.
Really?
Yeah, the hammer, right?
It gets
cool.
all like undead kind of like kind of stuff on it. Like the lights on it turn red, and there's kind of like weird undead like body part kind of. It kind of reminds me of the Chak stuff a wee bit, like the kind of weird insectoid like undead stuff on it. It's really cool. It's really, really
I think the hammer is going to be a love-hate thing for people, right? Because during the day, it looks just like a Black Lion weapon you would buy. Doesn't really look that
the Black Lion
spectacle.
weapons look better. I mean, granted, it has effects.
Right. I mean, it has some moving parts. It's got a little bit of a shine. It has footfalls, which, you know, it signifies legendary, and it does have a decently nice like unsheath animation. But at nighttime is where it really shines, because the hammer. Well, parts of the hammer light up red, like this dark red, and then you get to see the tentacles / undead parts or whatever it is come out of the hammer. Looks way cooler at nighttime, but
I'm gonna have to have a look at that, Corvus. Just bear with me.
So like, it's when you draw it. Fine. It's pretty neat, man. Like, but the sword, I think, definitely.
Holy hell, dude!
It's cool.
That's awesome.
I think the sword definitely is my favorite, though. I think it's one of those legendaries that just like it looks cool in a kind of very general way that everyone's gonna like. I think actually quite similar to like Nevermore, a few people that don't like that skin, and so it suddenly becomes the new hot thing where everyone has it. And I feel like that's like one of, I know I'm like, it's basically me just being a hipster, but it's like the main reason I haven't crafted things like Twilight or anything, because it just feels like everyone has it. I see that skin so often that it doesn't really have the cool novelty or special thing of owning it.
Yeah,
I wish
the Shining Blade will probably have that.
I wish the hammer had a daytime alternate version. Like nighttime is the Ordian version, right? It's sort of undeady. There's like coral
thing. Maybe that would have been
right.
cool.
I wish the daytime was like, I don't know what I want, but like a nicer daytime,
like a holy
version.
kind of. The god or versus Zaitan.
Right, but still it transformed in the day, because in the daytime it looks just like a regular sort of hammer that has some moving parts, you know? I don't know.
I feel like every Mesmer is going to have the Shining Blade. It's such a mesmery sword.
It is. It is, especially the colors. I mean, I don't use sword, and I'm just like, it's definitely my favorite of the Gen 2 legendaries. Like, there hasn't been a Gen 2 legendary that I'm like, I need to go for that.
Yeah.
And I just wish it was a great sword. I hope the great sword looks as cool, because that I will. That's what I'm waiting for.
I'm really curious about the great swords, man.
Like, I will say that's gonna be last, though. We don't have much left, do we?
No, we
dagger.
don't.
I'm desperately praying there's an icy themed or just a dagger that isn't on fire, please.
Here's the thing, though. In the AMA, Mo said that there will not be a new legendary weapon shipping with the expansion, and that
season 4,
the rest of them will come in season 4. Now, I don't want to harp on about this, but Heart of Thorns, we were told that we were going to get a full, complete set of legendary weapons with Heart of Thorns. So, which begs the question: will we need to buy the new expansion to get the rest of the legendary weapons?
Ooh.
Especially if we're talking about longbow, great sword.
Oh man, that's a really good point.
I think the answer will be, well, maybe not.
They said no. They said that they wouldn't have to, though. They said it for existing Heart of Thorns owners. The rest of the legendaries they would receive. It's just going to be coming out at the same time as the new expansions are. They said that people who don't buy the next one will still be able to.
But it'll still use the Heart of Thorns materials.
That's what I'm curious about. Maybe they'll have alternatives, right? Like it'll be like the legendaries now, the shards.
Oh,
and
maybe
you'll
have the option.
In the season 4 maps, but you can also buy them in the season 3 maps or something.
Oh, that could be.
Still.
That could be.
Yeah.
Which would be the best way for them to do it, I think. They can't do that. That would be just suicide for ArenaNet. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah. So I mean, just to clarify what I said, as part of Heart of Thorns, they said that part of it would be a full set of legendary weapons, and then Mike's comment on Reddit last night after the patch went live was that the rest of the legendary weapons that haven't been shipped so far would be coming with season 4.
Right.
Now my point is for chat to clarify whether or not you'll need the new expansion to be able to do the rest of the the new legendary weapons. But like Corvus was saying, you could be able to do a transfer for map currencies if that's the kind of thing you need. But then you've got to ask yourself, like with Heart of Thorns, where you had to complete the maps to get the 4 bits to slap a gift together, to get the gift, was it the gift of Maguma or something?
Yeah.
Are you going to need to do that like the gift of Alona or the gift of the Crystal Desert or whatever?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I really hope not.
They couldn't do that. No.
That would make me very sad if they did.
And also because they already are doing that, right? Like you want to make Shushido or something. You can, even if you don't own season 3, if you haven't bought that or logged in and unlocked those episodes, you can still actually farm the shards in the Heart of Thorns base maps.
Yes,
so you can use those currencies to get it. So it's really accessible as it is now. I don't think they're going to suddenly be like Nazis about to enforce people in. I don't think so. So it's already, I think it's super accessible. Also, it's so easy. These new legendaries, honestly. I feel bad that we're not getting a collection and a story for them all, but honestly, it's so much easier to manage the recipes and all the things that link in. And
I'd rather have the weapons.
Have like a family tree of everything open. All
I'd rather have a weapon or 2 per release, so we get like 5 or 6 a year than 1 a year because they have to make these elaborate stories.
Like a whole saga about it, this is.
It was a good idea, but if it takes them that long to implement it, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was so excited for the collections, and the Chuka and Champawat struck the right balance for me.
Oh,
well, aside from tier 2, because tier 2 all collections can go and jump off a bridge.
So I talked a lot about this on another show or whatever, but it's a real shame. Like Chuka and Champawat was the last one, and probably the best done legendary hunts. Now I've only done up to part 2 because you've hit a wall of gold that you need to overcome and time gates and nonsense, which sort of hurts the story in my mind. But that first part of the story where you're chasing the tigers all across Tyria, across many different maps, oh, it's so good. I was like, this is exactly what I wanted them to be.
But like, did you do Tigris all the way through? Because like
no, I just did tier 1.
Because like the 3rd and 4th part of it is like you go around, kill both tigers again, and then the final part of it is that you have to go and find like a tiger cub sanctuary. So
it's really cool.
It's so cool, and you bounce around like all the maps, and then you have to end up building them like a jungle gym and a little kind of bed to sleep on. And then once you've done it, you can carry them around, one of the cubs around on your back.
Considering that you killed their parents,
it came with back pieces and minis. They went all out on that.
It really annoyed me though, because Nevermore didn't have any of that. Like, why can't I have a special little ghostly raven on my shoulder all the time or something, dude? Like, what the hell? Like, Nevermore got shafted. I think like they got better and more ambitious with each one, but then it was too much.
Well, some of the cores, some of the core weapons have special stuff. Like if you do the longbow, it has a special garden.
Yeah.
That you can go and access to, and if you do Juggernaut, it has the potion you can pour on yourself, which doesn't last that long, but still, I mean, so there's a couple of them that have like those special things, but Chuka and Champawat is absolutely, and I've only done the first part because of the way that they have it structured. I wish all of that sync was at the very end, so that I can do the whole journey and then build whatever the hell I need to build, right? But anyway, and I know they're man-eating tigers, but I felt bad for hunting them down and killing them.
Read about the real Chuka and Champawat.
Yeah, you will
not feel bad. It's like, I have. This tiger ate 250 children, and it's like,
all right. It wasn't that many, but still.
How many is too many children to eat? You know,
one is too many children, but still, I mean, you know.
I like babies, but I couldn't eat a whole one. Hey.
Do we really want a story with every legendary weapon? What's the story behind the cake torch? I mean,
it's the fate.
It's cool, man. No, it's a Balthazar thing.
I know. I agree. I like the torch.
Everyone hates on the legendaries. The HMS Divinity is like one of the best legendary skins.
It looks awesome, but it's a bit
cakey.
It's great, but it's what, Alex? It's great. That's it.
Alex hates everything.
And for the funny legendaries
so
or the fun legendaries, they can do. And I know that ruins immersion for some people, but you already have a Quaggin and a shield, or a pirate ship gun, or a clown pistol. I mean, you're already ruining immersion anyway.
Exactly. I don't know.
So you can have like a funny story that went along with that. You know what I mean?
I have no idea why people think the HMS Divinity is. Like,
I've got to wrangle clowns up for my quip pistol, or I gotta. I gotta find a baby Quaggin, put it in a shield, let it hatch.
Oh my god, I forgot about that one.
It's cute though, but
See, I hate the Gen 2 legendaries that I love the most are the weapons that I never use, like sword, shield.
Right, yeah.
That's my problem. Like, if I was to choose one of the new legendaries to make, actually the sword or the hammer would be quite high up there now, but like before this patch, the only one I really wanted to go for was that. I don't use rifle on anything.
What about Astrolaria? I thought, or have you already got that?
Yeah, I've got the precursor. I've just got the whole T6 Chappelle.
But if you think about the ship,
I mean, like out of the ones that they added with Season 3.
If you think about the ship canon, I know some people. I'm not the biggest fan, obviously, but there is a cool story you could tell there, where you have to take it to a master craftsman, and he's got to carve out the ship, and you got to get an enchanted barrel, and I don't know. There is a story.
I think that's why I like it. It feels like a kind of traditional, like master crafted weapon that's really intricately designed, right? There's no kind of magical gimmick really about that. I mean, obviously the cannonball, but I don't know. I just really like it.
I mean, it plays buoy sounds, so I don't know, but
boy,
it's a boy.
I say buoy. I say buoy.
I say buoy is.
It's pronounced boy over here. It's
pronounced boy.
It makes boy sounds.
Yeah, boy sounds.
Ding 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 ding. No, anyway, no, that's the ship's bell. That's not a buoy.
Sounds like a buoy.
It's
boy.
What's a buoy?
It's a buoy.
It's same thing as a boy, apparently.
It's similar to a quay.
Anyway, moving on.
We haven't talked about the fractal yet.
I did it, but I only did it like level 25, so I'm not an expert. But I just did it because I wanted to do it fast.
I've not been in yet.
I don't know anything about it.
Seriously, the best fractal in the game.
I didn't even complete it, and I totally agree.
Woo!
I got to the second. I don't know how many bosses. I got to the second boss.
Just 3.
I pugged it with a bunch of people I don't even know on 100. So random classes.
Wow.
Who knows what builds people are running? And I think we wiped once at the first boss, and then the second boss, we were finally getting it nailed down, and I had a really long day. I mean, I think I just needed sleep. But
the last boss is pretty intense. Like, just
the second boss they're a lot of fun. It was
fun. Like the second one
mechanics,
especially, it's just so fun.
The story, I don't know the entire story, although I've been spoiled a little bit. But the story that is being told in there is really fun and really good.
Is this kind of
a cat inside?
Oh my god, not another cat.
Yeah, there's more cats.
Why not dogs, ArenaNet? Why not dogs?
I don't know if I want to... The setting is amazing. And how that affects, like, your little gameplay stuff is really cool. You have, like, the special act... You know, the kind of...
Yeah.
I think it's in the raids, I think, as well, have it, right? Like, the one you use and it kind of zooms you across. Kind of like the druid staff skill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
You have that. The whole thing's, like, low gravity.
What?
Yeah.
What?
It's so cool. It's so cool, dude. Seriously, I go and play it. It's, like, amazing.
When you jump, it's like you're on the moon.
Yeah,
right?
It's gorgeous to look at. Like the mechanics and the fights are, again, like I did at low levels, so it's probably even more insane on 100. But it's just really fun. It feels really quite video gamey, in the kind of same way.
It looks that way, doesn't it?
With the bullet hell stuff, like it's not as intense or bullet hell-y as that, but it's got positional stuff. You need to stand in this thing. Like it's really fun. It's just a whole. And yeah, the stories, it's a continuation of the kind of fractal story we've been having going.
Nice. Because they're supposed to be doing that, right? Like there's a fractal story going on at the same time all this living world stuff's going on.
Yeah.
They're supposed to parallel one another, but I don't know. But the 2 boss fights that I did were really fun. I felt like they were pretty challenging. You know, not impossible or anything, but I felt that they were really challenging. I like the mechanics.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost, in some ways, it was almost like a little bit of a mini raid.
Yeah.
That's what it
better
sounds
than
like
that.
from what I've been
It
hearing from
felt a bit
people
low.
with the bosses
Yeah.
and the mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of cool mechanics.
And there's
like
a
the stuff with
cosmic
the
cat
orbs
I
and
need
the
to
power
get.
stuff. Is there a cosmic cat?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
blue.
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I don't know all the details on him.
I need to
and
get that.
I didn't get footage because I didn't finish it yet or anything. But
Right.
there's like he's like a blue cosmic cat. I know what I need to feed him.
Is it like the Zodiac armor kind of skin? You know, like
deeper
kind of
blue, deeper blue.
That's cool.
And I don't know what he looks like in home instance or anything, but
I know there's a new
yeah, I need to
aura
get him.
you can get through the fractal as well. I think the Bling vendor has a new tab, and it's called like the Cosmic Infusion or something. And I think there's a red one and a blue one that you can get, but it doesn't tell me how much it costs. When I hover over it, just says you have to unlock the mysteries.
Probably have to do CM or something.
Yeah, I'm
or-
guessing.
Which I
so.
haven't done. I haven't done CM or anything yet.
I'm guessing so. But it sounds cool.
Or
And
what,
you
a
can
new
is there-
infusion?
Yeah. Called the
Ooh.
Cosmic Infusion, and there's a red one and a
Ooh.
blue one. But yeah, you have to unlock the mysteries of the new fractal. So I'm guessing, like Ink said, you'd have to do the challenge.
Right.
It's all pretty
It's
cool.
really cool. Like seriously, do the fractal. It's insane.
Oh yeah, I
It's
just
so
haven't gotten
much
to it
fun.
yet. Definitely.
Like
I enjoyed
beaming
the
whole
last
time.
one.
Just like I was just smiling the whole time. Just having such a good time.
There's a mechanic where, in order to, I don't want to ruin the boss fights for you, but I'll just say there's a mechanic earlier in the map where there's a giant cosmic ball that falls down,
Oh, it's so cool.
and you have to stand under it to keep the ball bouncing. It's a lot of
Oh,
fun because
wow.
it requires
So you know,
it requires
you have to run to
teamwork
the next thing,
and
or like one
players
person
and-
stand over there, because like there's like one particular area where to progress you're on like one of a little fractal island type of thing, and like you need to kind of stand. You need like three or four people to stand at specific spots where it's gonna land, and then like another one to kind of chase as it goes along. It bounces, so they have to stand under it.
You
And
could
then
probably
it
do it
way
with
over
2
there,
or
and
3
then your
people,
teammates
but-
there, and then it's so fun. Like it's so good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just play.
I love that ever since the introduction of raids into the game, I feel like raid mechanics or more mechanics, creative mechanics like that has been finding its way into other parts of the game, living world instances, fractals, and I love that.
Fractals
I
are like
think-
the perfect place for
Yeah,
it.
I
And
think-
I'd like to see more stuff in the open world.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I was-
MK is telling me that that this celestial infusion chest takes 30 of the matrixy things that you make,
Okay.
and it takes 90 of these tokens you get from CM mode, and you get
Wow.
1 to 3 tokens each day.
Oh,
Wow.
that's gonna be a long. But what's
So-
cool is that it's not an RNG drop, right? It's cool. that
Yeah,
it's
you can
something
earn
to
it.
go for.
you can work towards it. Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
1 to 30 months for CM 100. I mean, you'd have to get really
Wow.
unlucky to have to do it for 30 months, I guess. But
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
that's
well, 1 to
cool.
1 to 3 each day, and you need 90.
yeah, 3 months. Or something.
Either way, I love
3
that
months,
with this
not 30
finale,
months, 3 months.
they really gave us a lot of things to keep us busy up until the expansion,
Yeah.
which we
Yeah.
know
Yeah, I mean-
is like a couple months away. 3,
It's not
4
too far,
months.
is it?
With 2
Because-
legendaries, we've got like a new fractal, like a whole new map. to do
Legendary
stuff with.
trinkets.
Legendary trinkets are there.
Like, I know that I started off this this whole shebang a little bit on the negative foot, but
A little
all in all, what?
yeah.
But all in all, it's actually been a really great quality update. In
Like,
terms
just-
of
In terms of a
in-
patch, like
yeah, in terms of like the gameplay mechanics, in terms of the new assets, the new areas that have been put in, all those little kind of quality of life tweaks, the new fractal.
Oh
new
man, the
bits
quality
and
of
pieces.
life.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's just
the quality of life.
it's just cool. Like it's just really nice little bits and pieces, and it makes me feel wholesome. It makes me feel. It makes me feel. It makes me.
Wholesome.
It makes me feel revitalized about Guild Wars 2. It really does. It's
And
kind
no,
of-
but seriously, I came out of the patch yesterday, and I woke up this morning and just wanted to play Guild Wars. Like, I don't know, I
Yes,
just
what a
feel
good
really alive
feeling.
again. I think it's, and I think it's also the expansion hype. Like, I said this on Twitter like the other day, but like the kind of pre-hot, like even though there was like that content drop for like 10 months or whatever it was between announcement and launch, like that was like the most magical time, dude. Like just every week getting drip fed little bits of information and speculating, and just it was so cool. And
yeah.
I don't know, I'm just really excited to be in that position again.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be 10 months this time, so that's always
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's gonna be fast. Like
Yeah.
It is.
for
It is.
players, and I said this with the patch too. For players, it might, you know, oh, it's gonna 3 or 4 months or however long it's gonna be, right? Let's just say 5 months, 6 months. That might seem like a really long time, right? Because you want more, right? But I have this weird perspective because I'm a content creator, and for me, like right now is super crunch time.
Mhm.
I got a million videos I want to make on the patch that I'm not going to have enough time to do. We're going to have an announcement on August 1st, which is going to not require, but it's going to make me want to do several videos about that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it's a really good feeling to be busy and have a lot of work to do, right? But there's also this feeling of like there's not enough time to sit and enjoy and play the game when I should be creating something. So like Corvus said, I just want to get in and play. I want to finish the Fractal because I didn't get to finish that yet. I need to do CM mode. I need to be in World vs. World doing World vs. World things for the back piece. It's just not enough hours in the day. So, I mean, you know, I know some people like say that they're bored, there's downtime or whatever. I have so much to do right now. It's crazy.
If you don't have every achievement completed, wardrobe unlock, you have stuff to do.
Well, I guess that's an argument.
Well, and then
I've got loads to do before the expansion.
There's also like really great change if you had some of those like Halloween refractors or the few people that might have a
yeah.
They made those so that you can make them into infusions now, which is freaking awesome. The material storage has been expanded upon.
Yes.
Thank you, Lindsay Murdoch. That is amazing.
I went through my entire bank and I right-click and looked for deposit material on every single item in my bank.
Yeah.
It was great.
So much.
I cleared up like 2 bank
so
tabs.
much more bank space. So much more room for activities.
Yes.
Yeah. Just a lot of quality of life things that were really nice. So much to do.
Yep. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
It's 6 days until
6 days until we learn about the expansion. Yes. So final wrap up expansion hype predictions hopes dreams.
I'm not gonna know. I'm away.
Are you gonna be away? Oh no.
Where are you going, Alex?
I'm in Germany next week.
You're gonna
Guess
what? We'll message you.
Guess what festival time it is, Corvus? Guess what festival time it is?
I get it, but I get to play Guild Wars, Alex.
Oh
and see
no.
it's
back in
Yeah,
next
Guild
year.
Wars in the
all over
do.
me.
Yes.
Does that mean we're gonna have to replace you on the next show then?
I know you get.
Oh, we didn't even.
Because I
We
was
didn't even
excited for us to
mention-
be doing weekly shows again, like the old days. And Alex just abandons it. You're fine.
Germany. I can't Skype from.
They have internet in Germany, I think.
They do. It's very efficient. But I'm gonna be in a farmer's field.
You're just gonna be living in the mud.
I'm gonna be in a farmer's field watching Status Quo or something.
Inks, what was? Did you say we've missed something?
Yeah, somebody had mentioned that they added a bunch of extra mastery points to Corteria.
Oh, they did.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Which I know is like a pretty sore spot for a number of people.
Yeah.
Really?
So yeah,
And they're just
it was
commutable
moving back.
locations, so they're like you go up to
Really?
a like top spire in like a corner, and and if you get there's just a mastery point that you can commune with and get in Corteria.
Cool.
Okay.
I
people
wonder
who
what
are
they're doing. I
missing
mean, obviously, it's for people that can't access. I don't know. Like the only way to do it, I think, most of the Corteria masteries were in like season 2.
season 2.
So if you didn't have those episodes unlocked on your account, you were basically like money gated,
Right.
for your masters.
Right.
So this way it lets people do it. But what it means is that we have like a surplus, or even more of a surplus of mastery points now. So
Yeah.
I wonder if that means expansion 2 will give us more Corteria masteries or something.
I
That'd
hope
be
so.
interesting.
I would love some more Corteria
We
Masters
already
to
have
go
a
for.
reserve, so I mean it makes sense for them to add.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That'd
hope
be
so.
really cool.
I hope so. Well, we're going to wrap up the live show here. If you're watching live on Twitch, please stay tuned because we will continue with the post show. We'll talk about, take some questions from the audience and such. So stay tuned here on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, and all of the links to these guys' channels are down in the description. So go click all those for more Guild Wars 2 content. And we will see you guys maybe next week for some expansion talk. We'll see. We'll see when we can get together. Maybe sans Alex, since you be leaving us. But we'll see.
Thank
There will
God.
definitely be more Guild Gabs coming up as we learn expansion information. This is super hype. So we'll see you guys then. All right. Take
Later.
care. Thanks for watching.
Take care.
Bye, guys. All right. Post show, go.
Go!
Woo!
Post show.
Post show!
Right.
Great
So I
show,
guess
guys.
This is the part where, yeah, it's good to be back.
It
Good
is.
to be back. Good
I
to be
miss you
back.
guys when these like. I don't even like to call them content droughts, but the time, the 2 to 3 months
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
between
we don't get to hang
episodes.
out. Yeah.
You know what I'm hoping? I hope they bring back current events for the gap between now and the expansion.
It's been a while since we've had a current
'Cause,
event. Wasn't the last
we
one
had-
the Traherne one, which was very beefy current event?
Oh,
was
that was
cool.
so good. Yeah.
That was
But remember
surprisingly-
that crappy little Mordrum event before Heart of Thorns, where you
Oh,
could get
one
like the
where you got,
season
like, the
1
blooms.
rewards?
The
Yeah.
blooms where it
Oh
wasn't
man, yeah.
where it wasn't actually possible to get one of the rewards because you couldn't get enough of the currency. Inside.
But I hope they do something like that. That'd be
Yeah,
really...
if they did something like that again, I'd really down for that. It's just that the currency balance was way off.
Yeah, it
I
was
think on that.
because they had like
I would have
the-
completely forgotten about that.
Yeah, I reminded every time I go to my bank because I have a bunch of them. I've
Yeah,
I've
so
held
do
on
I,
to some
actually.
blooms just as like a kind of nostalgia thing. I've still got like trait reset items in my bank from the olden days.
Oh, God.
I just like keeping mementos.
So, Nedjigrin says, what actually was the event? There was something was it Brisbane Wildlands, where there were essentially like a whole bunch of events that were sort of related to Heart of Thorns.
It was a couple of maps, but Brisbane was one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was over the space of like 2 or 3 days, and
Very
so
short
Weekend. It was over a free to play weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was essentially like Kai says, it was an invasion thing of the maps, and you got rewarded with Mordrum blooms, and with them you could buy season 1 rewards. So there were things like the was it like the selfless potion, which was something that I didn't get.
Yeah.
Which I
Halo.
really really
The
wanted.
Halo.
I
But-
still want that.
I was
never got it.
proud that I earned that during the Lion's Arch
During the original
event,
one.
Good job.
season
Yeah.
1. I know never everybody
good.
was around for season
Yeah.
1, so
But the problem was with it, the way that the event was constructed, earning the currency was really tricky. Not through actually completing the events, it's just that the reward level was so low.
It was
And-
so low that it was calculatable, right? And especially because the event popped and it took ages for it to pop again. So you
Yeah.
could work out based off the timer of the event and how much, because it was a set reward. The mobs didn't drop any loot. It was like a set,
Oh, yeah.
kind of like the silver waste where you got the chest at the end of doing it. So the whole time you're grinding for however long the event takes, and then you get that one chest which gives you like 5 blooms or something.
Yeah.
Do you
And
think
so
they'll
based off the
do-
timer and off that set reward you got, and it wasn't participation based either, so you could work out exactly how many was the max if you farmed 24/7 for that weekend. And yeah, it was just it was kind of a joke. I mean, it was a neat idea, free to play, and then there's all this cool new stuff going on for that weekend, but it just was executed a bit badly. But to be honest, current events nowadays are like top notch. That Traherne stuff was amazing. You know, that was like the end of
Oh, that
Hearthorn's
was
quality
incredible.
tier. That should have been kind of added at the end of Hearthorns. It was worthy of it, at least.
As long as the current events sort of stay, if they were a bit more frequent than they are, right? I think they had a pretty good pace going for a little while there, and then I imagine with the expansion, they talk about it a little bit in the AMA, but with the expansion, and a lot of them have gone off to help different teams and do different things and work a little bit on festivals and stuff. And, you know, there's only so much you can do, I guess. With, like, I don't know how large the team is, but if it feels and sounds like whenever you hear about them that they're coming and going a lot, switching teams a lot and moving around. And they do have intentions of continuing the Rift thing and all this other stuff, but you know, well, I guess we'll see whenever that happens. You have to think too, what's going to be really interesting, and a lot of the unknown answers to questions are, so the expansion, we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but the expansion launches, season 4 starts 3-4 months after the expansion launches, right? And then is season 4 going to be like basically a year's length and be 6 episodes, 8 episodes, something like that?
If they can keep to the 2-month cadence, then it would take a year.
2-3 months, right?
For
but then is it going to roll
episodes.
into season 5?
I would think another expansion.
Well, I mean, but then that's 1 year between an expansion, right?
I would think that it's going to
Instead
end
of
up
2?
being about a year and a half between slight delays and, you know.
Yeah.
So I would guess a year and a half for
I think
expansion,
whatever
which
gap
I don't
just
think
think
is too
about.
much.
I think whatever gap we get between now and the expansion is likely to be around about the gap between that and season 4 coming.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit longer.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if season 4 starts in like April or something
Oh.
next year.
I just remembered something, a big like lore thing that kind of has been bugging me. I was going to bring it up, I forgot. It seems like they said in this episode that Balthazar wants to, and I think it was in the trailer too, that Balthazar wants to kill the dragons. Like, specifically kill them, not just, like, you know, consume their energy, and through that process they'll probably die. Like, they specifically said he wants to kill the dragons. Like, why?
Well, he got the bloodstone, sucked the juice out of it,
Right.
and then basically did the same thing to Primordius a wee bit. I think he wants to kill it just to get like a
Primordius
massive
and
influx of-
Jormag.
We don't
Like, does he
well,
not
yeah,
want
we
the
don't-
competition? Because the dragons are trying to
I
consume
don't
energy?
think that. I think what's gonna happen is that we find out that something happened and Balthazar got like punished or something by the gods.
Yeah.
And so I think what's happening now is that he right now is just a very tangible kind of normal magic using being that is trying to ascend back to godhood however he can.
So where he's been kicked out then?
I reckon something's happened. There's some drama with the gods and he's been booted out.
You know,
And
it's
is
interesting
now
that
trying to claw his way back, and if that takes destroying Tyria, who cares really? He's a god, and that energy would probably mean he can just phase out and go somewhere else. You know, they're not from Tyria, so I don't. Think
I had seen a lot of people talk about that in the trailer. They say, you know, the gods left Tyria, except one stayed behind, or one stayed behind, right? And we all assume that's Balthazar because that's the god we see.
That's
but
an interesting.
The wording is contrary to what we believe, though.
Yeah.
Right. So, but people are saying, well, what if it wasn't Balthazar for whatever reason? I mean, I think that it is, but let's say it
I
isn't.
think it is.
But this patch didn't really answer that, right? I mean, I guess it reinforced Balthazar as the god who stayed behind, sort of.
Yeah, it didn't really directly
really
address that. I think that was very strange wording, and it makes me
was
sad to think that it was simply they just mean Balthazar, but he didn't stay behind. Like, he left with the other gods, and then I think he came back.
Don't know that,
That's true. We don't know. My fear is that was just bad wording. I'm like, I want ArenaNet to be more clever than that. You know, like, maybe it really did mean that Lissa stayed behind, and Lissa is Queen Jenna, and he saw it the whole time. I would love that.
I would love that stuff, but when I think back to the trailer, there's so many lines of dialogue in there that, you know, were analyzed by Wood and Potatoes and everyone else, and was like, oh, what could this mean? This, whatever. Like the uncommon allies. Oh yeah, we're gonna team up with the undead because the Scepter of War. Like, it was just too like all the speculation was kind of too big a scope.
Yeah.
Like, and the same with the we have to use the bodies and put them in the lava so we can whatever. And it's like that was just dialogue from a heart.
Yeah.
Like, and so yeah, it's epic and it's cool and you know it technically is in the game. It's just because it's in the trailer doesn't make it important. And I feel like that text is just first for sure I thought that, but then after playing the episode, I was kind of like I think that was just there because whoever made the video that's Balthazar's still here, so we stayed behind.
Kai brings up a really good point that I was starting to think about when I was playing through it my first time, in that Anise has always sort of been a bit of a strange duck or a bit of an odd duck, and that's why I think players like to think that she was a goddess or part of a goddess or something. But I think Anise is, like Kai is saying, I think Anise is just Anise.
I agree, especially after
there's
this
still
episode.
this oddity to her though, right? Like she knows, you know, she seems to be older, and her age is a very touchy point, not just because it's a touchy point, but because there's more there, you know? Like Livy extended her life. Well, what if Anise is doing the same thing or has done the same thing in some way? Not as old as Livia, obviously, but old enough. And there's that whole part where she's been watching the commander for a very long time, and the commander's like, "What? What do you mean you've been watching me?" But so yeah, I think there's going to be continuing development with Anise, but I think Anise is. I think Anise is just going to be Anise. I don't think she's going to be.
I think, I mean, the whole it's Livia
Lisa or whatever.
Yeah, that's just wishful
I think
thinking. I love that theory. It's not true.
I hope they don't do this. I think for me they've had like it's a cool theory, but I think we've had that kind of god reveal, and then it's turned out that they're an imposter or pretending to be someone else, and now they're some kind of lowly being. I think I would like now for any other encounter we have with gods for them to be like Abaddon style encounter where they're these giant, like really immense like beings that you're just witnessing basically. If they suddenly then the queen is Lissa and then this guy over here is Brent and they've all been pretending and hiding, it suddenly makes them feel like just normal kind of characters. And I prefer the idea that they're these kind of unspeakable entities that are just like, you know, I don't know. I was actually, that's I think a lot of why I was disappointed with the Balthazar reveal last patch was that it made him seem like he was just a normal dude. And I know he's weakened and everything, but it kind of just instantly I was like, Balthazar's like not even cool anymore. That's sad. Just because he just didn't have that kind of mystical, like kind of dangerous character. Like I know he's dangerous, but you know what I mean? Like it should be intimidating just to look at, right? To witness. But it just
well, it is if you believe in him.
It was just a guy with a beard wearing the Balthazar outfit. That was it.
I need a Balthazar hat, damn it.
Balthazar cat. All right.
Atomic Samurai was wanted to ask about Mo looking to hand the head of game development to Mike Z.
Yeah.
Satarajni, I think is how you say his last name.
I don't know. He's just Mike Z.
Mike Z, right? Yeah, I mean he's been with the company for a long time. I think I met him in person once at PAX, and seemed enthusiastic about the game. Seemed nice to me. I mean,
he's.
I don't really know him that well, but
I've met him, and he's basically like Colin, super passionate about the game, all aspects of it, very knowledgeable about it. You know, personable, friendly. Basically the person there that of everyone I've met, like the most like Colin. So I think it's a phenomenal choice.
Yeah. Oh man, Colin, my heart.
I don't want to compare him to Colin and say he has to be another Colin.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I think he's a great choice.
I just think it's always comforting. Like they've made a couple of new hires in the past month or two, all of which have been quite exciting new hires, honestly, to the company. The ones that have been kind of public anyway. But it's just nice to know that. In the same way, like to be honest, you know, Mo has been with the company since day one, so that's fine. Colin was there for a long time as well, but it's it's just nice being reminded that everything's being led by people that were there and kind of just loved the game so much, right? If they had hired a new game director that was coming from Ubisoft or another publisher, it wouldn't have the same kind of comfy. I don't know. ArenaNet to me are just really homely.
Yeah,
I like
big
it. They're
family.
like
They work together.
I've never been like this with like a company, but I don't know. It's just nice knowing that people there like the game as much as we do and aren't just there kind of as a job. It's always, it seems like it's more to them than just that. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's nice. I'm happy. It's cool. Yeah, I'm glad they just didn't. I'm just really glad they didn't hire out. And we've got some of the.
Yeah, I think I actually said that before we went live that I would have loved like some of my big kind of gaming people to have gone to ArenaNet and put their own thing, like have Chris Avalone as like the game director or something. But in hindsight, it's great that they kept it in house.
It's comforting, but it's also, it just reinstates this idea that like Guild Wars really is just like a passion project for a lot of the devs, or for all of the devs potentially. Like it really is just like they just care about it, and it's just nice to know. Like a lot of games are built by people that are just there doing business things for business reasons, and I don't know. It's
feels good.
I don't want to shill them too much. I know they're in chat.
We've got Arena John.
ArenaNet, okay. Nah, I'm joking.
We've got Ruby, we've got Tirza, we've got who's Arena? Is that John Corpening? No.
I actually don't know. I feel really bad.
John, make yourself known.
I'm just gonna add Arena to my username and just go
Arena Corvus.
Arena Corvus.
And eventually I'll just blend in and be
John Olsen.
Start getting paid.
You and I both wish, Corvus.
I'm so sorry, John. I do not know what you do. I'm gonna Google you.
We're gonna get DDoS though, dude.
John Olsen is a gameplay programmer with the Guild Wars 2 Raids team.
Woo, Raids!
Oh.
That's in addition to his current work at... So I'm just reading this off the wiki, mate. He launches construction at Habitat for Humanity International.
Just reading about you on the wiki.
You're gonna find... You're doxing him. Okay?
Yeah. No, it's not got his address on. So not only does he make some of the best content in the game, he's actually a charitable son of a gun.
Welcome to Arena John Gab, where we talk and discuss Arena John every week. Live on Twitch.
Fine. But he was also involved in the free-to-play experience, the streaming clients. So that's the thing where you do the playable things. That's pretty. The playable thing where you're still downloading. That's and beta
playable things.
The playable things, the
I think
game.
you have
That's the one.
An admirer, John.
What? Hang on. Do you remember a couple of years ago we did an entire experience on the Guild Wars 2 channel?
I love when you cut out just...
I know, it's like you're being censored. You randomly cut out like for 2 seconds.
It's like, you remember when we did... And it was super awesome.
There we go.
Remember when we did NDA?
I was going to say, do you remember when we did an hour on that free-to-play experience, like on the Guild Wars 2 channel?
I don't remember.
A couple of years ago. It was you and me. It was.
Oh no! I think
and Inks did something with Nike.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember that.
About raids.
Memories.
Yeah.
It's been so long. This journey has been so long.
When will it end? I'm joking. I don't.
You guys sooner than you think.
I want to go to bed.
If you guys have any questions, please pop them in chat.
Yeah, I know we missed some, so please just put them in chat again.
We're just too busy talking about all the cool things we've done and how cool we all are.
Look, here's my cat.
Kitty. Dogs in the home instance. When are we gonna get puppies in the home? What was that? Wait, what was that line? I wouldn't be following Balthazar if he worshipped puppies.
Yeah.
That's something else actually that I forgot to mention was about all of the humans who were like, yeah, Balthazar's back. We're gonna go follow him. We're gonna do his bidding. We're just like, he's bad, right? You don't want to
Yeah.
go follow him.
Oh, I love the all the banter and stuff in the temple in that first instance, and Anise is saying,
Yeah.
"Don't make me throw you in jail too." And the priest of Balthazar is sort of trying to fight with some of the other priests, and they're just like, "Just shut up."
Yeah.
Really great, really fun.
I really got the sense of like tension, like they're not sure like what all of the followers of Balthazar are going to do. I liked the other worshippers of the other gods saying like, "Are we going to see our god? Is our god going to come back?" Like, I love that.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, man. Like, it's well because Balthazar's the god of war, so it's like it's probably not the best god to come back and cause trouble, you know. When you've got like followers who are devoted to you.
I think asking what is our favorite map from season 3, Viking Kittens, is going to be very biased because this last one is brand new and I think we all loved it. But yeah, I would have to say either this one or Lake Doric.
This one are better for us for me. Lake Doric has like so much charm and because it feels really nostalgic.
It does. It feels very homey.
Assets and stuff there.
And it's got the peach tree, so of course it's my favorite map.
I would definitely say Better Frost in terms of just pure aesthetic, not like content and stuff, but just in terms of the map and exploring and what it looks like. This one or Better Frost for sure.
I haven't played enough of the new map to know how much I enjoy this map or whatever. Draconis Mons was a map I didn't like at first, but grew on me. Like when I go there now, I feel very comfortable. Not just because of the vine slinging or the web slinging, but just because,
it's a really
I just
nice
know the map. I just know the map better now. But when I first went there to do story and stuff, it felt I didn't have such a great impression. And with this map, with the new map, Siren's Landing, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Siren's Landing. Yeah.
Like I've only really played through it once, and I've gone to a couple of different places to explore just a little bit. It just felt all natural. Like the way I flowed through the map into the story, I didn't feel like I don't know, it just felt better for this map. And Lake Doric felt like that too. Now the reason I like Lake Doric is because it's more of a classical map.
Yeah.
It's more of like a Tyrian map. When it was populated or when there's a lot of people there doing the events, that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I mean, those are my two favorite. That's currently my favorite, but I haven't played enough of the new one just yet.
What's my? I don't know. I don't know. Actually, I'm leaning towards either Bloodstone Fen or this one. Like Bloodstone Fen was just aside from the clerics, I think it was a really cool map.
It was beautiful and really unique, actually. Like, compared it to any other map in the game. I know the Season 3 maps are, like, smaller and more condensed, but, like, it's really nothing quite like that map.
Yeah. Ember Bay just kind of pissed me off in getting around it. It just felt... It just felt a bit of a struggle. It just felt a bit of a struggle to get around. I think even though I know there's a whole ley line network
and
around
the thermal tubes. That's where they introduced the thermal tubes.
I really like Ember Bay.
Don't get me wrong, they're all good maps. All damn fun maps. All damn fun maps. Lake Doric was cool.
What do you think about all the new music and soundtrack that was added this season? Which one do you think was your favorite?
This is one thing.
I think this map's music has been really great, actually. It was something that I noticed in particular last night.
Sometimes I have a hard time determining what is a new piece and what is an existing piece.
Yeah, there are new pieces around, but I think Heart of Thorns had an amazing soundtrack, right?
Right.
Like basically, like every single track in that soundtrack was really good. But I feel like the Season 3 ones have felt a bit like nothing stood out. And I mean, that's fine. Map, music, and audio has to be ambient. You don't want something that's striking. Outside of places like Auric Basin where, it's all wondrous and everything. But you kind of wanted to add atmosphere rather than be like a catchy song playing in your ear all the time that it's distracting. You wanted to enhance the map and the environment and everything. And I think it did a really good job of that. But at the same time, I'm not really going to listen to them like on YouTube while I'm doing something else. It's kind of chill thing because it's not really their purpose, I think. But I'm really excited. That cutscene at the end of the patch had amazing music. I really, really like that. And yeah, the boss sounds are really nice. And yeah.
The one that I do remember that comes to mind is Timey's game, which was actually
that was the coolest one.
Yeah. I instantly take back everything.
And as far as like video editing goes, it's a really great track to use for videos. It has a particular sound and melody and stuff to it that just really it makes for a great sort of background music when you're talking about almost anything, news or.
It's so good, yeah. I know it's like every YouTuber that talks about news uses that song in the background.
Likes Timey's game. Yeah.
It's just like the perfect kind of. Yeah. It's chill, but it's like it's nice. It's good.
Like I don't know how many people really do this, but when I'm trying to put a song in the background, and my software is not necessarily the best for it, some of the Heart of Thorns songs that are done have a really big. I don't know. I'm not a musician. I don't know the musical terms for it, but they have really big, loud moments.
Yeah. Crescendos.
The crescendos, right? The music is soft and it's flowing and it's beautiful, and then there's really loud crescendos, and then it goes soft and then loud. And those can be like more difficult, not more difficult, but they're a little bit more annoying to edit the crescendos down. Because you can have it at a certain level and you're talking and you're trying to get a point across, and all of a sudden there's this loud boom or this loud crescendo in the song that you really need to mute down because it will take over your voice, so to speak.
Yeah.
The I'm kind of with I actually forget who said it, but I feel like nothing in season 3 really stood out to me as like this is overwhelmingly like my favorite piece of new music. Like and it also is legitimately getting harder to tell, is this new music, is this old music, because they use Guild Wars 1 music, like there's so much of it now.
So much of Guild Wars 2's music is
and so there's nothing that really stood out. Timey's game, I don't even remember what the Timey's game music sounded like, but I remember that I liked it. A lot of people are saying, what about Aurene? Yeah, Aurene's music was good too, but it didn't blow me away. But as far as the music goes, I'll just say, Lena, please come back. Lena, please come back, because my top 5 pieces of music in this entire game are all Lena's work. I mean, her work just blew me away, and I just I'm so sad I'm crushed that she's gone.
Does McLean still do music?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Nothing against any other composer. It's all great. Just Lena's Lena was like music of my soul. Was like everything she composed was just. Like I felt like emotional to me.
But I think like Alex is right. The pair of them together worked perfectly because they were able to balance everything. Like Lena's songs are like some of my favorites in the entire game as well. But again, they're really situational because they're all really emotional and really beautiful, and that's not gonna work in a boss fight. That's not gonna work when you're at the end. Stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, okay, fine. Kind of hole in my argument. But yeah, I think it's a different type
Battle
of
on the Breachmaker.
When No, I just mean like it's a different type of composer that when you're trying to go for something, like I said, I think the music in this season has been great, but it's not music I would listen to unless I'm like reading or something. Like it's ambience, and that's good audio for games design.
Right.
That's what you need to do when you're composing for games. You can't have hooks and melodies constantly. It destroys like the ambience and atmosphere and maps. And so like McLean is like a genius at that stuff. The Silverway stuff, that dry, arid feeling in the music, like you can picture it. You picture a desert just by listening to the music. The guy's amazing at that. But the two of them together.
So what you're saying is, if I get sponsored by a drink company, I want to put a lot of that arid music in my videos. Consciously make them
thirsty all of a sudden.
Every time I watch Inks, I get thirsty.
I should buy some, whatever he's selling.
Synchrony says Lena tweeted that she has some work in the new expansion. Well, cause you know what, I wouldn't be surprised, and that makes me super excited. If that's true, I believe you. Because McLean also, he works like remotely as well. Like, I don't think he's not like at ArenaNet every day composing music. Like, he's doing his own thing, and then he composes music for them as well. Yeah. So Lena can very easily do the same thing.
I think he just works remotely.
Like they both do. They both
does it full time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a question from Craig. What Guild Wars 1 locations do you want to see in the expansion?
I want us to go north. To Vabby.
To Vabby!
Epic Guild Wars 2 memes.
Sorry. Which is actually
there's so many.
I mean, is he talking about like the Crystal Desert specifically, or like in general?
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean,
I want to go to Augury Rock, man. I just want to go back. I want to go.
I mean, I'm sure
there's
that a
really
lot of
limited
people are
locations
about...
in the Crystal Desert. There was like what
you
4 main.
Don't you remember that giant skeleton in the sand?
I want to see
rock?
that giant
really
skeleton.
cool.
I'm sure it's still there 250 years later.
I really want to see that rock that was at these coordinates. I'm going to type into chat right now.
And those big lizard guys walking around.
The Hydras.
There's a ton, you know.
Crystal Desert Hydras were huge in the Crystal Desert, and we don't have those in Guild Wars 2.
But weirdly, those skeletons were supposed to be the remains of the
Troyasa.
The full size loopies. The
giant skeletons.
The massive skeletons. And
I hope they're still there.
And also the statue that I want to see as well, but it collapses when you go towards it. Sorry about scratching on thingy.
It's okay.
Is that one of the giant Alolan hero that falls over when you get to it? So I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm really excited. I want to see things like the Desolation, what that entails for Guild Wars 2.
Yes.
I want to see like the Bone Palace.
Jujundu Racing.
You know, for Lona stuff. Vabby. I mean, Vabby in Guild Wars 2 could look so good. I mean,
that's like going
back to core. Yeah, going back to core. Like, we just got a taste of ore. I want to see more of ore. And I don't know how that would really fit into the story, but
that'd be quite a cool idea. Because people were thinking about that in Heart of Thorns, of maybe we could get maps elsewhere in Tyria as well as the jungle.
I mean, Season 4 could somehow get back to that sort of thing, right?
I guess, yeah.
She mentions the Scepter of Ore in this particular story, and so I feel like that's still a story plot we could explore at some point. So I don't know. And it doesn't mean that the Scepter of Ore is in Ore, but it could be.
Right.
I think one thing I would have liked in Heart of Thorns, and one thing I was hoping for before going in, was that we were going to have instances that took place in Corteria as well. I hope some of that kind of I know, like, the new region is always like the new flavor of the month, kind of, this is cool, we're in the new place, we want to explore it. But I want like some kind of setup in Corteria before we go there, or things like that. I think would be really nice. Or maybe we have to go back to Aurene in Auric Basin and talk about stuff, or deal with something there, or maybe we, go talk to Ogden, in the like, just something that ties it back, because
Puppies.
Right now it doesn't feel like it, obviously, because they've merged in, but at the start, the first few months after Heart of Thorns came out, it felt really disconnected from Corteria. Like, it felt like I was going through a portal into like a completely different game. You had to remember you couldn't glide, at least back then. The kind of colors, I mean, it's still the case, the kind of contrast is way higher and stuff in Heart of Thorns maps, and it's a lot more washed out in Corteria. So blending the two together, so the Crystal Desert still feels part of Tyria, and it still feels part of the same thing. I would like that. So yeah, obviously I'm excited about the new places, but I would like to see new story and old as well.
ArenaNet has always been very good at not just designing the maps themselves, but visually appealing maps. So I'm excited to see whatever those maps are going to be. I never get enough maps. I'm map greedy, so as many maps as they can give us, I always want more. Crichton92 says, what do you guys think about the waypoints? The new map just had one, but introduced shrines, which to me feels much more natural as a way to transport. I'm really hoping the expansion maps will have a few or less than Season 3 maps, so the maps might feel bigger / more immersive.
100%.
If you actually have to earn the capability to unlock waypoints rather than just running over them in your maps, I think that could be pretty cool.
That was kind of something they hinted at before Heart of Thorns. Remember, they gave us, there was a lot of this information coming out and speculation on this whole idea of towns and outposts and events that would link them together, and you'd have to defend, and then you could unlock that. And people were saying, like, maybe you have to do an event and, like, kind of save this outpost, and then you could then waypoint to it or something while it's protected, and it would have this kind of 1v world kind of keep this thing defended. Kind of.
Isn't that kind of the contested waypoint system now? So you're saying like a more advanced version of that? I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. I just remember people saying that, and then we didn't really get that. Yeah, okay, this is the contested thing, but I feel like I've always, since Season 2, I've been an advocate. Since we got the vines that were, appearing, holding onto waypoints. Remember, it would glitch out sometimes, and you would suddenly see a vine. Yes, I love that.
Like, since then, I was like, oh my god, what if they do that and Mordremoth kills all the waypoints?
Yeah.
And I feel like these days, any kind of veteran players or anyone really, you're missing out on the world a lot. I notice myself, I just waypoint to where I want to be constantly.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I'll be running across a map and then I realize that, like, oh my god, dude, like, this is so nice walking through a map. Like, I never walk through maps anymore. And unless I'm doing like an event chain or something. So the idea of having like maybe like obviously one waypoint per map, to me is like something I'm really fond of. That idea. Really fond of it. It promotes exploring, it promotes people just being in and taking in their surroundings and being able to look at it. Yeah, it might get annoying like eventually.
But if it's like in the new map where you play in a certain map enough, and then you can unlock for your account that waypoint once you've explored a lot, you've done a lot of the exploring, you've explored the nooks and crannies and done all the side quests. Like, I'm totally for that. I really like the system.
Yeah. I think using currency to unlock it or something is a neat idea, though. It was cool in this map because there was kind of a lore thing going on. You got these shrines to the gods. It's kind of magical. If it's literally just paying money to unlock a waypoint, I think that it needs to have some flavor to it that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like maybe you pay off an Azuran engineer or something that can help you make a waypoint or something. Like, that's a neat idea. Anything that can promote exploration. I love exploring in this game, and one of my biggest kind of complaints about Heart of Thorns was that the events took precedent over exploring. I don't mind that, but it was too much. There still needs to be room for exploration, and I hope like this kind of idea would promote that a lot, and I would like that, just to be able to walk.
So Royal, are you going to be on the X-Pac announcement? I'm going to be watching it.
Yeah, we're going to be watching it.
Yeah, I'll do like I'm planning to do a live reaction because it's a live stream. So I'll do a live stream and I'll react to it. Watch it.
We're not
with
like
you guys.
Yeah, I think actually, guys, just ArenaNet are going to be
right here.
They're going to be right there, over in my house. So over there, honestly, this isn't like a weird kind of murder den. This is actually my upstairs. I've just not turned the light on. But yeah, ArenaNet are going to set. They're going to set up over there, and we're gonna green screen that back wall, and
So he's gonna do a live guild chat right in Alex's room.
Everyone's coming over. Mike Z, Ruby, Colin,
Arena John,
everyone. It's all right. We're just gonna chill out and announce the expansion live from a village.
Oh, he got censored.
Oh, censored.
Bleep.
Oh, for God's sake. But yeah.
There's another question from the same person. What do you guys think about the wind effect when gliding? The higher you are, the more the wind. It affects the jumping puzzles, etc.
Really? Is that a thing, or is that a thing that should be added?
It must be a thing. I don't know if
If it is a thing, that's amazing. Like, that's
I don't know if I've experienced that.
Me neither. But that's a really neat detail. I'm really happy about that. If it's in the game, that's really cool.
We did not learn who E is in the last episode. No,
we didn't. I don't think we ever will. That'll be a cliffhanger. at the end of Guild Wars 2 before Guild Wars 3 comes out.
And Chris Wynn tips, do you guys think someone from our allies will die in this expansion?
I hope so.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I hope so. I love deaths.
Not because I want someone to die, but I want that to be a driving force.
Just,
I want to be scared. I don't know
impact.
who could, anybody could die. That's exciting.
I crave like emotional impacts like that.
Right.
I love
yeah, so I hope so.
When they're done well, I was gonna say I enjoy them. That's terrible. I enjoy a good death. You know, when it's written well, when it's done right, when it's done justice, then I think it can be very good for the story.
But it's also that's the thing with it though. It's really tricky because it could either be amazing, like an amazing story beat, or it can just be kind of a really obvious, like kind of just throw that in there so something happens.
Like we're obligated to have someone die. So
yeah. It's an easy way out, but it's also, if done well, it can be an incredible.
Yeah,
moment,
I hope it's done right.
Tricky.
No, it won't be Timey. She
It
can't
won't
die.
be.
She's gonna become the new
I
evil.
wish.
They can't kill time. She's too young.
For now, but she's growing, Alex. That's why they're doing it to set it up. Right?
As soon as she gets
I'd
old
love
enough,
it
they're
if
just gonna kill her.
I'd love it if Tommy's death was just completely
comes in.
incon.
Timey hanging from a vine.
Just like Belinda.
And Rupert.
No, he's dead. So
Yep.
she's gonna be like in a crystal.
Rupert.
Neji says, do you think ArenaNet might be bringing in Paolo Ajoko? How will they have them in the
I'd love
story?
to see
Basically,
Paolo Ajoko.
do you think there's going to be like a second villain? I think that would be great to spice up the story.
Yeah, I'd love to see Paolo Ajoko. He's always been a big favorite of mine. Oh, for God's sake!
That's fine. It only ever lasts because it's only to cover a word. And that's
You
only
just got
funny.
censored too.
It's like you're being like bleeped for swearing. Or something, so.
I'd love to see Paolo Ajoko. I think that where he was left off at the end of like Guild Wars Beyond or Nightfall, whichever one it was, where he essentially now takes over most of Alona. Yeah. I think I'd love it.
I think it's likely, but I don't think I'd be that happy. I think it's too obvious to be exciting. But I think it's a thing that's been it's happened so many times where there's a fan theory in Guild Wars that gets so popular that everyone's like, yeah, it's got to be true, and then eventually it turns out it is true. And I feel like this is one of those things. The Paolo Ajoko thing's been said and suggested and speculated about so often that it kind of basically has to be what happens. I can't think of a time where there's been a fan theory that's that popular where it's actually not happened.
Right. Very popular.
And I don't think that's a fault. That's not a fault of the writing. It's just the community being right too often.
Yeah.
Except for Anis's Livia.
Yeah. Since we're moving on to a new expansion, do you guys think ArenaNet will keep adding gliders to the gem store?
Absolutely.
Yes.
There is no reason for them not to.
Yeah,
but why we have them here? Please add a glider to the game that isn't in the gems.
Yeah, in-game.
Like it sucks that we don't even have one. I mean, okay, the legendary ones, but 3 legendary gliders. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
it takes like 5 years. But I don't know. It'd be cool, even for Halloween or something, like you did with the outfit that time, right? With the Hex outfit that you got for Halloween. Do you remember?
Yeah, that was cool.
That's true.
Yeah.
I would just something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, like we're always going to get more glider skins in the gem store. The thing is, I know that we kind of sit here and just go, oh, more gem skins in the gem store. But I remember when Heart of Thorns was still being amped up and it was announced that there were going to be gliders. I remember me and Corvus were sat here going, oh my God, what if they do glider skins in the gem store? How amazing will that be? Yeah. And to be fair,
our wish came true. It was all our...
to be fair, there are like almost all the glider skins that I can think of I've liked.
Yeah, dude, gliders are cool, but...
Yeah. I think the only one that I've not liked so far is the snowflake one, just because it got a little bit polygony.
The ugly wool one as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ugly wool one wasn't that great.
but yeah, it was like gliders are the way to go,
Love the
and like
necrotic one.
yeah, and there's going to be more costumes.
See, that was my guess, was that they're gonna, just how they introduced gliders as a mechanic in Heart of Thorns, like, I would think that they would introduce something else as a mechanic and then have skins that you can buy in the gem store.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so then they can add something else. That's, I mean, it just makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't have a problem with the gem store at all. Like, it's never really triggered me that much. I'm not one of the gem store and then uninstalls a game. I don't mind it. They have to make money, and they're really, honestly, most of the time, really reasonable and fair. But hi, Inks. I just think that
I love how it bleeps you out like mid-sentence because you're talking about the gem store.
really. What I would like is for there to at least be like a handful of options that are in game to counter it. You know, like a lot of the cooler skins that come for weapons are Black Lion ones. That's fine because there are some cool ones. Legendaries, I think, shouldn't be counted because they're always going to be there, and they're such an investment that it's not really the same. So I would like at least like some gliders and whatever they introduce for the expansion there to be some options that are in game that aren't, you know, tied behind money. I mean, okay, you can farm gold.
Yeah.
That's not been an argument for like 3 years. Like, 'cause of the
I
goes-
think it's a
goes
perfectly
crap.
legitimate argument.
It's
But
yeah,
I
it's
agree that there should
possibly
be
unrealistic.
in-game earnable gliders.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I have no idea, Bjorn, what the new legendary trinket collection is. I would think
What
you
if
only
you
get
have to collect
one.
the question?
I mean, I doubt you
What if
do
you had
it.
to collect every trinket in the game to get the legendary?
What trinkets do you guys think the
That'd be
new
amazing.
legendary
Even like the
collection
karma
is?
one.
I can't imagine
I-
you get all 5.
I imagine you get one.
Yeah.
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 I hope it's just not that expensive.
Probably an accessory or something. Oh, I'm sure it's. I mean, it's legendary. I'm sure it's expensive.
Yeah, no, I mean it has to be, but like, and actually, aren't the accessories like a huge chunk of your stats as well? Actually.
Oh, yeah, your accessories.
I mean,
yeah.
all of them together, yeah.
Well, you're gonna need a gift of exploration for each one.
I'm curious.
That'd be amazing. Gift of battle. for each
Wow.
one.
Jeez. I'm curious if we're gonna get new ranger pets and what they will be.
Ooh, we've got to get new ranger pets, right? I mean, we did
want
for
my
Heart
Gotta
of
get new
Thorns.
ranger pets. You want a
I
whale
want my
shark?
whale shark. I want my beta whale shark back.
I want a hydra.
Look,
No, no.
look,
Dude,
because
A
the shark
whale
is
shark.
fine.
whale
The-
shark.
like
What
the normal
for?
shark
You're not
is
going to be
fine, but
swimming much in the desert, mate.
no. Shut up.
Like,
Oh, my
unless
whale
you want like a land shark, a classic
It'll
shark.
be
Shows what you
the Jundu, the sandworms.
A sand shark.
Oh,
No,
just
that's
a
a cool
sandworm.
idea, dude.
A land
Land
shark.
sharks, man. Tremors or something. No.
Oh,
Oh,
yes, graboids.
I want.
Graboids. Oh, I need to watch that movie. It's been so long.
I wonder if do you know what'd be great? I wonder if we could get like llamas or a range spit attack that
Or
poisons.
what, Alex?
Or what? Llamas and camels, man, and they just.
Oh, they just
That'd
spit
be cool.
projectile
Oh, yeah.
camel, projectile spit, camel pet.
Yeah,
Blinds your opponent.
yeah, I think it'd be quite
Camels
cool.
would be good, actually.
Ooh, a skeletal undead ranger pet.
That's more
Just like the,
necromancy,
the
isn't it?
bones, just like come to
Yeah,
life.
you can't steal our minions, dude. I hate minion mancy, but they're ours.
Will
could
I
get a
be able to build
gazelle.
sand castles in the Crystal Desert? Yes.
No.
Probably. Oh, dude, you know, if they add a guild hall,
No fun in the desert.
There's, they're gonna add like a sand castle guild hall.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Guild hall
Oh,
made out of
yeah.
sand.
Oh, that's
Could have
a
already
bit close to the
Yeah, we've already got that.
Well, we've already got the best guild hall that's made out of sand.
Yeah, which is made of sand. It sounds so cool, Alex.
Yeah,
Made of sand.
it does Corvus.
Nah,
So-
that'll be like an oasis-y type of thing, really lush.
Yeah.
It's gonna look more jungly and green than the jungle ones. It's gonna be nice, I think. I don't really know what else they could do. Maybe an old ruin that's like kind of buried under the ground.
Bogotter the ranger pet? I don't know if Bogotter wants to be a ranger pet.
If
Oh,
they
no,
made
that
an otter pet, he would make a ranger and never play warrior again.
Bogas. Yeah, Bogas could be. Ibogas or whatever they were called.
Iboga. I always said Iboga. I don't know if that's
Iboga?
right.
I guess like
Ooh,
Jackal,
a pyramid
maybe,
guild hall. Ooh,
That'd be
that would be cool.
Do you think that Balthazar looked like how he looked in episode 5 because he didn't have power? When he absorbed Primordius's power, he had more magic, so now he's back to his empowered state.
I did think he looked a bit too normal.
They sort of address this a little bit about like his magic and stuff in the story, and they say that you can look at him without your eyes melting because
he's weakened.
He's
power.
low powered.
Yeah. So and I think it's safe to say that he's much more powered up now. I mean, you see him in the prophecy like nuking the desert or wherever.
I think in the trailer he just had his helmet on. Do you know what I mean? For visual effects. I don't know if it was.
Sure, yeah, that's just concept art. So, but I would imagine like if he's the final boss, like he's gonna look much cooler. I should hope so.
It needs to be like the Abaddon fight. Like
it needs to be
ginormous.
Yeah. Bring the pain.
What sort of creatures are in the Crystal Desert? Never been there. Also, what sort of lore is there that could resurface?
Tomb of Primeval Kings.
Crystal Desert is where we went in Guild Wars 1 to become Ascended, which was a huge thing.
Yeah.
But wasn't that so we could see the Mersat?
It was because it was the spectral agony, right? You meet them and they're really, and you get scared because there's one in your mission, and then you ascend.
No, wasn't.
That's when you do the armor thing.
Yeah, you had to get your armor infused.
That bit comes
by the
after
seers.
It. So
you're escaping the mantle or something?
No, the Lich or Vizier Kilbron says you have to go there for plot reasons, probably so you can harness the power of true belief in yourself and summon Captain Planet. And
really?
It's something to do. It's something like that.
It's none of those things.
I can't remember.
I'm sure someone will tell us.
Okay, True Sight. Yeah, so that is to see the Mersat.
Says you have to get True Sight. Yeah,
that
makes more sense.
That entire conversation could have been avoided.
I was right.
So I think that those plot points and stuff will be there, but I'm not sure how it will relate because the Mersat are now extinct.
They can't see the Mersat, right?
But maybe you can't see their cities or their structures or something without it. Maybe that'll connect, or maybe it'll connect to the gods somehow. Maybe you'll need to get True Sight so that you can look at them when they're powered or when Balthazar is powered. Maybe. So I think there's something there. Maybe there could be a special action key for True Sight that you need to activate when he does
to be able to look at Balthazar or one of the gods with their true power without your eyes and face melting off. That it might be
you see a little green alien instead of big robot.
He's so powerful now we can't fight him. That would be a cool callback to Guild Wars 1 where we can't fight the Mersat. We have to ascend before we can fight the Mersat because we literally can't see them. So now, before we fight Balthazar, because we literally can't see him without our faces melting off, because he's so powerful now, so we have to go through the process of ascending so that we can actually see him and look at him to fight him.
Could be.
There's
also Palawa Joko and his Bone Palace is in the desert there, or right around the desert. Yeah. You've got the Janundu worms, which were a big part of it. Crystal Desert's a cool place. Vabi, of course, the princes.
Doesn't the Crystal Desert connect to Alona, like directly?
It does, yeah. There was a temporary passage. I think it was closed off after the Alonians retreated, I believe.
Glint's lair technically is in there, and perhaps we'll get to see. Perhaps we'll get to see the battle site for. When Ritlock and Destiny's Edge and
I hadn't even thought about that. That would be so cool to see.
Yeah.
The Crystal Desert is Alona?
From the book.
Well, it's
find snaffs.
The Elon River flows between the Crystal Desert and out towards Ore. So, but I think that we're talking in terms of essentially what Tyria is in Guild Wars 2 and what the areas were in Guild Wars 1. So yeah, it kind of was a loner, but I think to kind of keep it clear,
there's a lot in that area.
Yeah. I think for the sake of clarity, when someone says Alona, they mean everything south of the Crystal Desert. And
Yeah, to me, it's kind of
that's
weird.
what it means to me.
Because I consider it like a bridge between Tyria and Alona.
Sure.
Especially because you go there in Prophecies, which is all so Tyria focused that, like, to me, it always permanently links the desert to.
To me, Alona is Nightfall.
Yeah, exactly.
Crystal Desert
That's,
is Prophecies, so they're in my mind they're separated.
Yeah. So Yellow Flash the Hookage says, "What do you mean by ascend? I never." So what happened was, as we said a little bit earlier, you find out about these false or alternative gods that the White Mantle worship, and it turns out that they're these things called the Masat, and you can't see the Masat to start with. It's just like this invisible force kicking your ass. And so what you have to do is Vizier Kilbron, who turns out to be the main big bad guy, spoilers, it says, go over to the Crystal Desert and you must ascend. So what you have to do is you meet a whole bunch of Alonian ghosts, like Tyraios, who's was he a former king of... No, he was a former king of Alona because he's related to Varish. And you have to do these 3 missions, which kind of tell a little bit of the story about about what happened to the Alonians when they tried to progress up into the Crystal Desert. And then once you've done these 3 missions, you have to your doppelganger and inside Augury Rock, which is like the site of ascension. And once you get this, you get the gift of true sight because you've beaten yourself or whatever, and you can now see the Masat, but you still get absolutely railed by their spectral agony. So the next bit is you have to go and visit a seer, which was one of the 5 original races on Tyria, and they go and infuse your armor with this spectral agony resistance, and it goes from there. Play the first game.
I was just about to say, like, if you haven't played it, there's between
I
now
really
and the
should play
expansion,
Prophecies
like
again before the expansion comes out.
It's a perfect time. And actually, I was thinking, like, so much of what we've had has been so... It's been really... It's just so Prophecies focused at the moment. You know, like, we went to the jungle, and then there's all the White Mantle stuff, and now we're going to the Crystal Desert. Like, it's kind of just following the same pattern as Prophecies.
It is, isn't
which is
it?
quite cool. Which hopefully means Kantha's next, right?
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Hold on to that dream.
Because we've already been to the Fire Islands, so yep, Kantha next expansion.
Since we're going to the Crystal Desert, do you guys think we're gonna bring back dry top mechanics with sandstorms? Could be.
I don't see
that
why
could be
not.
Cool.
Maybe with a slight evolution, just so it's not copying dry top.
Yeah, maybe on part of the map or in certain sections of the map. Maybe a meta event that involves it or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I think it worked pretty decent. Do you think it would be a good idea to have a meta event in the final map where you have to defend yourself from Kralkatorrik's forces, but also defend him from Balthazar's army?
Sure.
Really?
That sounds way too complicated. Man.
It sounds for a meta event, but like as a concept, that's amazing. Like
It's a
you're
great
trying to
concept.
protect your enemy while also fighting your enemy, but just like not too much.
You know,
That's a really cool. I like that. It's like that weird gray area of like who. None of these guys are my allies, but like, I don't know. Cool. I like.
You know what was really fun was during 2nd or 3rd beta event, ArenaNet ended it with Kralkatorrik attacking a map, and he started turning some players into minions of his, crystal minions of his.
Branded,
And when those branded killed other players, they also became branded. And so the goal was,
it's like a zombie type of thing.
right, kill all the players who are now branded. That was a lot of fun. What do you guys think about the bridge in Brisbane Wildlands? Now, when we had the instance north of it, seems fitting that the bridge was leading to.
I don't know what bridge they're talking about.
You know the bridge that's broken, and then there's like meant to be like the portal the other side, and
You can see a portal on the other side.
Oh.
It's been there since launch, but wasn't that referenced in raids that like that's where it was leading to, that portal?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know.
No.
There was an interesting thing in this patch, semi-unrelated to this, but they talk about the people of Janthier, right? They don't talk about the Mursat of Janthier. When they talk about the Eye of Janthier and they talk about the Mursat, there was a line in there that talked about the people of Janthier. I would love to go to the Isles
Could that be referring to the Chosen?
Maybe. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know what the Isle of Janthier is all about. The people who live there, right?
They might have just been left there.
So who knows if we'll ever go there that direction, or if we'll ever go up there. I would love to. The ring number, the Mursat prison, which is a raid wing 5. Is it 5? 4? 3? 5? 5, I think, is up in that region of the world. You know, it's where it's at on the map anyway.
Mm-hmm. I think, to be honest, for the whole north of Brisbane thing, I think it was so obviously tied to the White Mantle. Like, that's obviously what they want to do. It was at least tied to the bandits when it was put there. And,
yeah.
I feel like now we're kind of done with the arc. We're probably not going to have any reason to be there.
I'm sure there's other reasons. I think the original Druid, maybe we've already covered that area. I'd have to see the historical map because I don't quite remember, but there was stuff from Guild Wars 1 up in that area. I don't recall what it is now, though. But it was like Druid stuff and whatever. But who knows? Who knows what the future holds?
Why did we have to resurrect Lazarus in Abaddon's reliquary? Wasn't that where the last piece was?
Didn't Balthazar leave it?
I can't remember.
I think that's where, because as soon as we had all the pieces, we combined them.
Yeah.
There was a convenient little, like, pedestals area set up, though.
Yeah. Just for the right occasion. Fancy that.
No, I feel like that was more like a... I saw someone on Reddit say that that bothered them, that they went there and then there was, like, the pentagram already made and everything. But being real, like...
I didn't think anything of it.
How else could they have done it? Like, they just as like a mechanic of a character like drawing a pentagram. I'm not sure they could even do that in the engine really. To prepare it, it would have just been kind of a sure they could have had the NPC walk around and do stuff while talking.
I honestly have to rewatch it and replay it to be a little more detailed about that. I couldn't really give a proper response.
But to be honest, the fact that it was already there could be a reason of why we had to do it there potentially if it was like a special chamber for that. But it would have that kind of reasoning would be a bit forced. Maybe it's just because it's safe, it's protected. Abaddon's all secret and stuff, so or was.
Well, we were chasing Balthazar, and we thought we were following that whole thing, and we thought that Balthazar was going to like be in that final chamber because that's where the eye was. But it ends up that that's just where, like
the eye was looking for a spot to resurrect. Yeah, maybe.
Probably, yeah. It was probably that. The eye probably knew that was there. Why it was in Abaddon's place, I don't know.
I think it was.
The eye doesn't even have hands. I don't know what it was gonna.
It doesn't even have legs. I don't know how it walks.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's just because it was just a safe, secure place. That's kind of.
Gotta remember, he's the god of secrets. Hide all kinds of.
That's true.
Stuff.
That's true. He kept all the secrets.
I know the answer, but it's a secret. I can't tell you. I'm sorry.
Alaska says, can you see them adding new things to core Tyria? Absolutely. I mean, if we're only going to the Crystal Desert for the expansion, Living World Season 4 is probably going to take place in core Tyria. So we'll get new maps.
Until they announce.
Thank you.
It's like a new continent properly, you know.
Thank you so much. I got a smoothie.
Where's my food, tea?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude.
I'm so hungry. I was just about to like type to you guys like we should wrap this up because I'm starving.
Oh Christ, it's half time. I've got to go to bed soon.
What time?
I got another stream to start in 2.5 hours.
I'm like, I've got to get up in like, fucking hell. Oh, excuse me, sorry, like 7 hours, I think.
Oh my goodness.
7 hours. That's
well, hey,
fine,
thanks for I'm glad that all 4 of us were able to be here today, even though we had to switch days and stuff. Like, yeah.
Sorry for being late and then early.
Yeah, Corvus is like, I'm gonna be half an hour late, and then because of time zones, it was actually like half an hour early.
Time zones.
And we were a little late too because I hadn't reset everything up in OBS because I like didn't, I had to redo everything because I upgraded the studio after I reinstalled Windows. So I was like, it was like 2 hours before this show, and I was like, I don't have anything set up in OBS. I mean, I have all the assets, you know, the art assets and everything. I just had to put them all in order and recapture the webcams and stuff.
We did it. We did it.
Yay! We did it. And so we'll probably do another one next week. Well, maybe next week. Maybe we'll see. We'll talk.
We'll talk about it. Yeah,
We'll talk.
But definitely, like, soon after, you know, the announcement and stuff. We'll as soon as possible after the announcement.
Oh man, hype! I can't believe it. I really can't believe it.
Like 6 days. 6 days.
It's insane, dude. I don't know. It feels so good to be this hyped about Guild Wars, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
I
does.
literally, I need to figure a way to not sleep.
You need employees.
I need employees. Yeah, sure.
You need interns that you don't have to pay.
Volunteers.
Volunteers.
You want to
Oh,
intern
I
at
should.
that
Yeah.
MMOINKS Incorporated? The pay is non-existent.
MMO Incorporated. That's
We
fine.
don't have towers of candy or snacks, and there's one very old editing computer for us all to share. Get to work. No sleep.
Yeah, you get the volunteer title.
Oh, boy.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Super appreciate it. Here, click all the links and check out.
You guys have been
guys.
awesome.
Yes, thank you so much. The main show will be up on YouTube hopefully tonight. Well, maybe tonight. As soon as I can get it up on YouTube, it will be up on YouTube. If you want to watch,
You can watch it all again.
watch it
watch it
all
all
again.
again.
Or whatever you missed.
And give it loads of likes and comments
all
and subscribes.
the likes and subscribes.
All those likes.
Yes. All right, guys. Take care. And thanks to you guys for being here and talking.
Hey, anytime.
Yeah,
Okay.
super fun.
No worries.
Yes.
dude.
It's always great.
All right. Take care, guys. I will be streaming again
Bye-bye.
in 2.5 hours or so. Play some Guild Wars 2 and Raid Night. So we'll see you then. All right. Take care. Bye.
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 Say bye, Fitz.
Bye.